Hello everyone, welcome to Race Day Live on supercrosslive.com. We're here for round 5 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. I'm your host Andy Boyer, and beside me as always is Jim Hollywood Holly, former factory Yamaha rider and Supercross legend. Handling our pit reporting duties is going to be Miss Myra Tinajero. Welcome to the show, folks.
Well, it's good to be here, Andy, and what a stadium we have here, the University of Phoenix, Myra. It's just such a big stadium, a big track. I think we're in for some big racing tonight.
Absolutely. You know, we go into each show with huge things to talk about the past week. Last week, most notably, Cooper Webb's, bike failure that opened the door for Joey Savacci to snag that first win for him.
Right.
And then also, I think it was big that Marvin Musquin snagged his first podium of the season as well.
Right. Meanwhile, the big number one of Red Bull KTM's Ryan Dungey, what more can we say, guys? A second place and 3 straight wins and a 22-point lead in the standings. He's on fire.
Well, and he's coming to a stadium where he got KTM their first 450 win back in 2012. It's been good to him here in Phoenix, and I don't see anybody. The only guy that I can see maybe Kenny Roczen, but he's got to get a start. Jason Anderson, he's from Albuquerque. This is a hometown race for him. He looks good. He says, you know what, I got to get a start.
I know you guys remember last season's Phoenix battle between Ken Roczen and Eli Tomac. I'm really hoping to see that. I think we saw a little bit of that, in Anaheim, but I really want to see them go big like they did last year in Phoenix here.
Right. Well, the big talk about this weekend is this big track. It's absolutely huge. The starting line is 453 feet long. Jim and I were down there to get a closer look at the track. Let's check it out. This place is big. We've been talking about it all week, but now that we look at it, we're standing down here in the floor, Jim. I'm impressed. There's a lot of floor space here. Yeah,
I mean, we go to Arlington, AT&T Park. You think that stadium. We go up to Toronto. We think that that's a big floor print. But this one here, I mean, this starting gate here, you're going to start in second gear. You're going to hit third. You're going to hit fourth, possibly maybe fifth. By the looks of things, this thing is long.
That's the longest start we'll have all season long. Horsepower is going to come into play. Sometimes the smaller tracks, the torque, in and out of the corners, but right here, getting a good start means you're going to have a big motor, almost like, car racing. A big motor is going to help you on this start.
Absolutely, and the other thing too is the privateer guys, like you said, sometimes on those shorter starts, if they can get a better reaction time out of the gate, they'll equal with the factory guys. But here tonight, they're going to struggle here.
A little bit. And it's a lot of places to struggle with it. This track has multiple lanes, multiple rhythm sections, multiple whoop sections. But one of the coolest parts about this track is it actually goes outside. Let's go check that out. Jim Hawley, as much as we talked about how much floor space we have, what makes this track really cool, look where we're standing.
I like when they go outside. I like the over and under bridge. We're using it just to go over, we're not going under, but up and over it, and that's going to add a little bit, and it's kind of like a mystique, for the fans inside. They go outside here, and you're anticipating who's going to make that, left-hander and get back into the stadium.
Come flying back into the stadium. Who made the pass? Or
it kind of reminds me of when we were at the MGM Grand for the US Open. Yeah, it's cool. I like when they go out here. It's kind of neat. Like I said, it's just a left-hander up and over the over and under bridge, and then a little bit down, and then another left-hander, and you're back into the stadium.
The theme here, Jim, that I'm noticing is high speed. We came from Oakland, where it was a tighter track that had the under and over bridge. It was just more of a tighter design. This one's a lot bigger, a lot more high speed. Over a minute lap times, I'm sure it's going to be. What other factors is going to come into play with a longer, faster track?
Well, your focus. I mean, you're going so fast out there. Like you said, when you get into these big football stadiums, like we have in Toronto and other places that we go to where you got the big print. It is just, you can do a lot more with the track. The Feld track crew can get really creative in something like this. But, you talk about fast. It's going to be fast here in Phoenix.
There's 5 different winners in the city of Phoenix in the last 5 years. Who's going to be the 6th different winner? Jason Anderson, Ken Roczen? We're going to find out today. So like we said, Jim, it's a big track. We're going to say it a lot today on this show on Race Day Live, but it's huge. The floor space is absolutely huge, and if that wasn't enough, we're going outside like we just talked about.
Well, we talked about it before. Last year we were in Chase Field. It's the same dirt we had in Chase Field, but they had to add about 0.25% more dirt because to cover this floor space we have here in the University of Phoenix Stadium.
Right. And then going back to last week, look at a guy that's finished 3rd and 2nd in the last 2 weeks. Ken Roczen. He just came off the track in the first untimed qualifying session, and he was the fastest guy. What do you think? Is Ken Roczen ready to pull the trigger or what?
I think so. I kind of thought maybe last week he could do it because I thought Oakland might have owed him one from the year before. But, you know, he looks good here. I mean, you know, if you're picking your fantasy picks, you can't leave that guy off the podium for sure.
Right. Well, we're still talking about the track. We want to take a more in-depth look at it with this week's Kawasaki Track Mac. Let's check it out.
You're going to see it, like we said, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, and possibly fifth gear for those 250s. I don't know about the 450s, but you're going to make that turn. And this here is critical. If you can get this triple here and double into this corner, carry that momentum
a little
around.
Tighter through here.
A little tighter, but you see the step on, step offs, a couple different ways you can do the right-hander, and then this is that rhythm section that's going to lead you right into the big whoops here. And like we said, we saw some of the C guys in that free practice struggle a little bit. A guys not struggling. This section here, if you can triple, which we saw a lot of the guys doing, is going to be key. And this section here is where you're going to go outside the stadium. Now you're out of sight. Go out here, and you're going to make a left-hander, and then you're going to go up and over. Actually, they changed that. They come here, hit this, step on, step off. A lot of guys doing it a couple different ways there. Another left-hander as you come up to the Monster Energy finish line. This is going to be key, this section here with the dragon back going down into this right-hand corner. And then
back on the drag strip.
Yeah, the drag strip. That'll be, let's call it the drag strip. But a long straightaway here. But it's going to be, I think, you know, like we talked about earlier in the show with starts, a lot of the privateer guys, you're really going to see the factory horsepower show up here tonight.
You're absolutely going to. We have a huge show for you guys today. There's a lot going on at the University of Phoenix Stadium today. We have BMX out in the pits. It's the Monster Energy BMX Jam. Toyota Best Trick's going to be coming up with those guys. They were here visiting us at the Monster Energy Cup, and they went absolutely huge. Double backflip, no-handers, double decades, backflip, tail whips. I mean, so many tricks that it gets out of my vocabulary pretty quick. But huge lineup of guests today. We're going to have Carrie Hart joining us here in a little bit. But we were actually down there checking out some of that BMX action yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of that. Monster Energy BMX Jam. They're going to be going for the Toyota Best Trick. You guys were going off in Vegas, man. How was the vibe there? You guys seem like you were stoked.
Yeah, Vegas was the second round for us, and they actually made it a dirt comp instead of like a little race. So we had 2 big dirt jumps into a 10-foot quarter, and everybody was on point. And I think Kyle Bolduc ended up winning, and then Pat Casey took the best trick, and I was out there having fun with the dudes.
I saw a double decade. I saw a double backflip, no-hander. What are some of the bangers that we're going to see tomorrow when you guys start getting pumped up and getting the flow?
I think this round's a little more, the jump's a little more taller, so I think we'll see some more bangers and maybe something new. We got Andy Buckwood here. He's a double flip no-under king, and then you got the double decade Pat Casey here too. So I think it's some good action. So I think you guys should check it out.
Well, speaking of good action, the Monster Energy Supercross Championship, this is round 5. Have you been watching this series this year?
Yeah, I've been watching, obviously Bubba's been hurt, but he's one of my favorites. Christian Craig, Cooper Webb, all those boys are battling, man. I'm excited to be here in Phoenix watching. This is my first time in Phoenix, so to watch it live is sweet. You know, I'm from Cali, so I always go to Anaheim SD, but Phoenix is the first time for me, so excited.
He's excited. TJL's going to be going huge on these jumps, double backflips. It's going to be nuts. Can't wait to watch these guys go. You know, and speaking of backflips, we have the guy that started it all for dirt bike backflips. He hooked the first one. Carrie Hart, welcome to Race Day Live, man.
Thank you. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're
awesome.
doing good. You got to be doing good. Looks like your guy looks fast today.
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's been no question about Ken's speed. It's just he's got to get out of the gate good. You know,
yeah.
It's so crucial, as you guys know, with starts nowadays. I mean, the talent's so deep, you can't expect to come mid-pack and get to the front.
Well, and I talked to you at Anaheim, and he said that, you know, he was practicing like 400 starts.
Yeah.
And you know, some guys say, well, 400, but yeah, absolutely 400, because has he changed anything on the motorcycle or anything to try and help him to get out of the gate?
No, you know what, I think it's just, you know, I know he's been playing with some technique. He's gone, a majority of his career, I think he's done 1 foot down. And as we review tapes, when everything links up and works right, he gets out of the gate good. But if anything goes sideways before he clears a plastic, he tends to kind of want to go left. So I know he's changed up. He's doing 2 feet down. And I think really what it is just, you know how it is. This is such a mental game. And he's just got to know, come hell or high water, he's going to be the first one in the corner.
Right. We want to go back a little bit here. You know, you're a legend. Like we said, you did the first ever backflip. We have the footage. We kind of want to look at it. Try to go back and remember that day. And talk
a lifetime ago.
Talk to us about commitment, though. I mean, when did you commit? When you woke up that morning, you know, a month in advance?
No, you know what? It was something that I really worked on for a while. I mean, back in those days, we didn't have foam pits. So we didn't have a safe aspect of trying it. And so really what I did is leading up, that winter leading up, I spent about 2 weeks at Camp Woodward out in Pennsylvania. A good friend of mine, TJ Lavin, a BMX rider, and we went out there and I did probably 500 backflips on a bicycle in the foam pits, resi mat, eventually on the box jumps, and just really got comfortable being upside down. And then I just took those tools that I learned and put into place at the biggest freestyle contest of the year, which was now Dew Tour, but back then it was Gravity Games. Just gave a good yank and committed.
Well, wait a minute. You make it sound like it was so easy. I mean, you're talking about a bicycle. I mean, what did that bicycle weigh? Maybe 10, 50 pounds or something?
Yeah.
And then you're going to take a 220 pound or 30 pound motorcycle and you're going to backflip it. I remember that day distinctly because I was watching on TV, and as well as I do and Andy, we're all former racers, professional riders. Each time you come up to it and you run, it gets harder and harder to do it, And I saw you judging that. I'm going, come on, Carrie, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. And then all of a sudden you busted it out, and I went, nice. It was excellent.
We actually have the clip. Let's look at it, man. Let's go back in time and check it out.
Long time ago.
What's going through your mind right here?
At the peak, I was not too stoked because the place I thought I was going to land, I was still going up as I was passing it. So I was a little worried about the landing. But, look, there's no big secret with flips. And anybody that does backflips now will tell you.
Came in.
Yeah, got bulldozed. There's Lavin right there.
And then what about when they knock you down and then everybody piles on you?
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of people don't know, but I had my spine fused last year, and that was the first fracture I had in my spine. So I landed so hard a compressed fracture.
And that didn't help with all the weight of everybody on top of it.
Right. No, but the thing about flips is anyone that will tell you that rides freestyle motocross, it's not a hard trick to do. It's just all commitment.
Right. Well, and speaking of commitment, you've stayed committed to this sport your whole life. You're a team owner now, but you're still on the bike and doing laps and stuff. You had a little injury a little while ago. What happened there, man?
I wish it was an exciting story for you, but we got our first rain of the year, and I went out to my local track, Zaka Station, and was turning some laps and just kind of jumped into like a little soft pocket, caught my front tire, and just whipped me over the bars. I mean, honestly, I'd been due. I hadn't had a broken bone in probably 3 years, so I was due. You know how it is. It's not if, it's when.
It's the worst part when you've gone a long time without a big bail because it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming sooner or later if you ride dirt bikes. But, let's talk about your season with RCH this year, Soaring Eagle, Jimmy John's RCH. Last year you guys started out on fire, won the first 2 out of the 3 races. This year your season starts with Roczen cartwheeling in the heat race. But now he's picking up momentum, climbing back up in the points. He's got to feel good. You guys' vibe in your pits has got to be strong right now.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we started off as a Cinderella story last year, and and maybe in hindsight it wasn't a good thing. We came out, the first couple wins were easy. A year ago last week at Oakland, he had that bell ringer, and it took him a while to get back on track. So I would much rather take how our season's starting this year, because our preseason was solid. The vibe in the whole team, and Ken is solid. Like we got through all those initial, because in the very beginning, hey, it's easy to go win races, as you guys know. It's really hard to deal with the bad races. And when things got off track last year, it just was like a snowball effect, and we had to do a lot of damage control. But here we are 12 months later, and ideally we haven't got the results we wanted to the first couple races, but the championship isn't won in the first 5 races. So as long as Ken just keeps chipping away, hopefully he'll better from last week and go on a heater and give Dungey a run for his money.
Well, the other thing, you had a little adversity to overcome with Brock Tickle, your other rider, getting injured in a practice crash and injuring his arm, but now you filled that spot with Jake Weimer, and he's been doing great.
Yeah, Jake's a great guy. Going back a few years ago, we were really making a play for him, trying to get him on. Actually, it was the first year we're going into RCH, and it's really a blessing to have him. Unfortunately for Brock, he got banged up at the test track, but that's dirt bikes. It's not, once again, it's not if, it's when, and hopefully he bounces back from that injury. And we're going to support, depending on, no matter when Brock comes back, we're going to support Jake through the Supercross season. And I would like nothing more than to see 3 RCH motorcycles out on the track.
Well, and Andy talked about it, Carrie, with your commitment to the team and everything. The side of marketing that you have, and you knew you were missing a little bit something. You got together with your buddy Ricky Carmichael and brought him with his involvement with Suzuki and everything, and you got the right equipment now.
Yeah, that was always the missing link. But before Ricky came along, there's a piece to this puzzle that we like to think we can all go in on a production motorcycle, but it's a really tall order to fill. And there's no question about how successful Ricky is, about how knowledgeable he is, and the relationship he has with Suzuki. And he was that missing link. And it's a really, really fun dynamic with me and Ricky now, because I'm teaching him a lot about the marketing side. He's teaching me a lot from the technical side. We know what our strong suits are, and we have yet to have a disagreement on anything.
Oh man. Well, speaking of that, we got the 250B guys on track right now, Carrie, and you're a racer. You've been on the track. You qualified for main events. Let's go through some play-by-play here with these guys.
Yeah, I mean the track out here, it's really fast. I was actually surprised how much speed's going to have on this track, and I'm selfishly enough, I'm not riding the track, but I'm really happy to see some good size whoops again.
A little bit of similarities to Sam Boyd Stadium. Do you see a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to be back in a football stadium. I think this is our first football stadium of the year, and you get into the football stadiums, the tracks get a little longer. A lot more 180s, which the 180s always create good racing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching the race tonight, and it's really cool too to see. You know how it is. The really tight technical tracks are great. Yeah. And it's fun, but to watch these guys really get into the power and haul some butt down those straightaways is awesome.
I think it breeds greater racing. I think the starts tonight are going to be spectacular. It's 453 feet, so a football field and another 140 feet. So, I mean, that's the longest start in history I think I've ever seen. I talked to Jeff Emig and he agreed, but
that's a haul. Yeah. That's a long one. Guys might be clicking a few gears off that start.
Well, it kind of reminds me of a little bit like MotoGP. Who's going to be good on the brakes? I mean, you're running it down there, and the guys who can get on the brakes and make those 180 corners like you talked about, Carrie, are going to be very important tonight.
It is. I mean, a lot of the racing is going to happen tonight in the turns, and it's all questionable whether it's aggressive racing, not aggressive racing, but it's great racing.
Right. Are you surprised at the lap times as we look at
Chase Marquee?
Yeah, Chase
113.
113. That's a long Supercross lap.
That's a long lap. I was curious how that's going to affect how the program runs tonight. I mean, I'm sure like with you guys and all the fans, more racing is better, but it's definitely a long lap time.
Definitely a long lap time. But let's talk about some of the other storylines. I know you're a big fan. What do you think about Chad Reed being second in the points 4 races into this thing? Did you see that coming?
You know what? You can never count Chad out. I can't say I saw it coming, but I know how determined he is. Yeah. His mind over body is pretty amazing. Yeah. I definitely he's flying the flag for the old guys out there, which I think is amazing. Yeah. It's great to see him back with Yamaha, and it's really good too because I know I could imagine the pressures he had of having his own team, and now to be able to come full circle, get back to basics, just focus on his bike setup and his training, and go and have fun. I mean, there's a new fire lit in Chad.
Let me ask you this, transitioning over the 250 side of things, were you surprised to see Cooper Webb's bike have a little bit of a malfunction last week?
Yeah, that was a shocker. It's not very often, because of how good of the equipment is and how good the mechanics are, you see a technical malfunction like that. And yeah, I didn't know what to think. I mean, you saw the smoke billowing out of his exhaust can, and obviously he didn't install the bike. So sitting at home on the couch, I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Right.
I mean, I feel for him, but the positive spin of that from a fan is it's now tightened up the series a bit.
Right.
It's going to be a good race to the end.
Well, it's going to be a good race. I
almost didn't recognize him, Andy, and I go, where's Webb at? I was so used to the red background. Now he's got that black background. Then you see Joey Savacci with the number 37 with that red background.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know Savacci that well, but I've spent a little bit of time with him. I know he trains out at Ricky's place, and he seems like a really good kid. And there's a great talent pool out there. It's awesome to see Craig coming back after sitting on the couch for a couple of years, and he's got his fire lit. Yeah. It's a really exciting time for racing in the lights class.
Like we talked about today, we have a big show. There's a lot going on here at the University of Phoenix Stadium. We have freestyle motocross going out in the pits. We actually have some footage, Carrie, we want to look at. So let's take a look at some freestyle footage here.
That ain't it. No, that's some old guy rolling around a track.
Getting in the turn track.
Is this at Zaka? This is at Zaka?
Yeah, this is at Zaka. Yeah, I mean, I think it's arguably one of the best tracks in California. It's just, I mean, the dirt's super prime. They take a really good job.
Looks
take really
like
good care of it.
They prepped it really good for you, too, that day.
You know what? The great thing about this place is I mostly go out there during the week on a Wednesday, and I've yet to have more than 15 people on the track with me. Yeah. I mean, it's just a great spot. Ed does an awesome job with it, and it's just prime. I mean, and especially in the wintertime when all the hills get green.
You mentioned Eddie Lorado there, who runs that place. He's such an enthusiast and a great vet rider himself. I mean, he competes up in Mammoth and stuff in the over 50 and everything, but he just, he knows how to set up a track, and arguably one of the best tracks in Southern California.
Yeah, he's solid.
But one of the things we like to do on this show is the RMSX Fantasy League, and we've been doing it every week, and we're gonna let you take a shot at it. So this is the first RM Fantasy segment. Let's go ahead and get into it. I think I'll go ahead and kick it off. I hate to say your guy's not going to win, but Dungey right now looks so good.
He does.
But Kenny's coming off of a third and a second, so I'm going to put Dungey Roczen, and I think Tomac has got something in his belly. He looks kind of angry in practice this morning, and he was fast.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before he gets on the podium, but that's my top 3. What do you got, Carrie?
I mean, I got to go with Roczen number 1 for the greater good of the program.
Well, don't feel alone, because I had him winning last week, and I think I'm going to put him winning this week. I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to come.
Yeah. I'm going to go Roczen, Dungey, and I think Anderson's going to get back on the box again.
Right.
I think second, I think I'm going to have to go with that. I think Roxon's going to do. I think Anderson, and then I think Tomac. I think I'm going to go with those 3.
I like your pick, because that'll put Dungey back a couple plays and we can play some catch up.
There you go.
We have some other spots like 4th, 5th, and 8th. Who do you see some of those guys in the top 10?
You know what? I mean, obviously, aside from our affiliation with him, I'd love to see Weimer back up there.
Jay.
He's riding really solid. I'd love to see Millsaps up there. You know, I've been a long time friend of Davey, and I think he just needs a good break out of the gate and get him up in the top 10.
One guy I think that I'd like to see get up there, Phil Nicoletti. I mean, he's been putting in his time, and very hard as a third rider, you know, filling in. You know, he filled in for Weston Pike in San Diego, and then he fills in for Justin Barsha now. I'd like to see Phil get in there and get in that top 10 and maybe a wild card pick for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's our banter. That's what we think. Here's actually the picks that have accumulated on AmFantasySX.com. So Dungey, Roczen, Anderson, we're all 3 pretty close, it looks like. The wild card's been Millsaps for the last couple weeks. But, you know, I was really impressed with Marvin Muskin last weekend.
Yeah.
And I knew it was just a matter of time before he got some confidence, got a start. We all saw what he did to the field in the 250 East last year. And that guy's dangerous when he gets some confidence.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a big transition from the lights to the big bikes, you know. And, you know, he's a pretty lanky guy, and it's probably going to take some time to really get confidence in throwing that bike around. But I think with him, because his style's so good, when it all clicks, you're going to have to watch out for him.
Here's how many guys picked right last week.
Right. 19. It's pretty cool to see the numbers. It's growing every week, and everybody's involved. A lot of people at Feld, some executives are involved, and that's some of the first things they're doing in the meetings is bringing up their fantasy scores.
Nice.
It's pretty funny.
Why wouldn't you be involved? I mean, the winner, a Toyota Tacoma truck, a race prep Kawasaki 450, third prize at 250 race prep. I mean, and each and every week, even if you don't join, you know, like now, you can still join in halfway through the season and still win prizes.
Right. And just remember, go to rmfantasysx.com and get signed up today. Meanwhile, we're gonna go down and check out some more action on the track here. Yeah, Carrie's staying with us here. But,
Perfect.
there we go. Now we're back on track. A little bit of a sand section there. I saw Kenny actually doubling out of there. It looked really fast.
I haven't even had a chance to see any of the laps go down yet.
That triple
section
coming back
there,
in.
Yeah, you got to triple that coming back in and then double out of it as they get ready for the triple there.
I like that dragging back after the finish line. That's a pretty cool little section of where it's going to eventually, once the track starts to deteriorate, kind of separate the men from the boys.
Well, and I think tonight, you know, as the guys are out there qualifying and things like that, even though the Feld Motorsports crew will do a great job on preparing the track, but I think tonight, main event, it's going to be a little bit hard dry in some blue groove sections out there.
Yeah, you know, this AZ dirt is kind of notorious for getting pretty blue groove, slippery, dry. So I'm curious to see how it holds up, especially with the sun out.
Absolutely.
Maybe start beating this track up a little bit.
Checkered flag is out on 250B qualifying number 1. It is Mitchell Harrison on the Yamaha Star Racing Yamaha. Mitchell Harrison's been fast all year. He's the fastest lap, followed by Chase Marquier, Austin Politelli, Stephen Magis, and Zachary Comans rounding out the top 5. 108 there for Mitchell Harrison. So
not bad. I mean, I think that, you know, maybe possibly when we see him come out for their final qualifying session, they'll be able to drop those times. But look at Comans there. You know, he's a rookie. Came through the Amsoil Arena Cross, and you mentioned the Amsoil Arena Cross, Carrie. I know that you're familiar with that, but Austin Faulkner last weekend won both. He's got enough points now to qualify into Supercross, and I know Chase Sexton had a pretty good night last night in Colorado.
Right. Well,
yeah,
Carrie, man,
Faulkner's a good kid. I like him a lot.
We can't thank you enough for coming on.
Hey,
it's
no
cool.
problem.
You're an inspiration to watch, and you run your team and still keep motoing and stuff. I like seeing blisters on your hands, you know, so don't ever give up. But
we don't like seeing casts.
No casts. Blisters are fine.
Exactly. I don't heal so good anymore. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Right. We'll see you down in the pits for the BMX guys for sure. There we are, our top 5. Mitchell Harrison, Chase Marquier, Austin Politelli, Stephen Magis, Noah McConaughey jumping into the top 5 there at the end. Pretty close lap times there, Jim Hawley.
Yeah, kind of surprised at Dylan Epstein. He finished up 12th last weekend in Oakland there, and a little bit down on the time, maybe, I'm not sure. Another rider making his debut, and I think he's coming up in this next practice, would be R.J. Wageman. He qualified through the Amsoil Arena Cross last year, and good to see him, making his debut here in Phoenix.
Pretty tough track to make your debut at, if you ask me. But
yeah, especially the whoops.
Yeah, they're big. A lot of the guys were struggling in practice, but we're gonna have a huge show coming up. We got stuff going down in the pits, the Monster Energy BMX and freestyle, and the unknown Harley industry wheelies. Myra's down there getting some action and some reports from that. But we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. Amsoil. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding.
Flowing
Protect
right
your
along.
weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Terex 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
High RPM aggressive riding takes a toll on your engine. Extreme heat adds to the challenge. Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil synthetic base oils resist viscosity loss. The oil provides a protective film against wear to gears, bearings, and pistons. An extreme simulated start test and on-track testing with professional riders reveals Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil delivers bulletproof wear protection. Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil. Out front performance.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute invites you to text SX to 82257. Enter for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Terex 4LE. Again, text SX to 82257 for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Terex 4LE.
What's up, guys? Chase here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and it is time for Fantasy Supercross. If you played Fantasy Supercross last year, the gameplay for this year is going to feel very similar. However, we have made some big changes to scoring that we think you guys are going to love. For 2016, we'll be giving away over $100,000 in prizes. Our grand prize will be the all-new 2016 Toyota Tacoma. We also have a brand new Race Prep KX450F and a KX250F for our first and second place winners. We have got a ton of other prizes that we're going to be giving away as well. We've also got weekly prizes for our top 10 winners, so if you get a late start to the season, it's not a big deal. You will still have plenty of chances to win. To start playing, simply go to www.rmfantasysx.com and create an account. RM Fantasy SX is fun, it is easy to play, and it makes Monster Energy Supercross even more exciting, so make sure you sign up and start today.
Everything you thought you knew about off-road vehicles is about to be redefined. Introducing the world's first and only pure sport side-by-side, the all-new YXZ 1000R from Yamaha. With a high-performance 3-cylinder engine, 5-speed sequential shifting, and long-travel Fox suspension, Side-by-Sides has shifted forever.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
Hey, this is Guy Fieri from Food Network's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and you know what? You're watching Race Day Live. Huh?
Yeah.
Having a good day on Race Day Live. Guy Fieri there. It was fun to see him in Oakland last weekend, and we're going to have an interview with him we'll show you later. But what a guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, and his son Ryder was there with him, just enjoying all the festivities that Oakland had to offer. And these guys ride. I mean, they go out and ride a lot, and his older son, I know he's in college at UNLV, but great to see him there.
Right. And on track right now, we have the 250C qualifying number 1. But as we were talking a little bit about the 250 class and the unfortunate circumstances of Cooper Webb, but what that did was put the top 5 or top 3 within 5 points with Joey Savatgy, Zach Osborne. Now, if you're Cooper, you can't really panic, but you still got to go out and get on top again and get that point lead back.
Oh, absolutely. I think what his mindset and focus is just going to be to do what he did before. You know, he strung together those first 3 wins, and he's just going to, hey, I got to start over again. I got to start winning races again. If he wins tonight and Savatgy, finishes up second, he's going to have the point lead when we head back down to San Diego next weekend on February 13th for the Military Appreciation Night by a 1-point lead, as we're getting a split screen now and getting a chance to look at some of the 250 Group C qualifying out there. And a couple of the guys, Axel, I see Axel's making it with us.
Axel Harville, yeah. Casey Brennan so far the fastest with the 1:15. He's quite a bit faster than Axel with a 2-second advantage there. But there he is.
A chance to see R.J. Wageman there. They got him down as Russell and named after his father, but we know him as R.J. Good to see him out there, 621, as we're getting a chance now to look at, can't see that bike number there, Andy.
Yeah, the sun.
Especially when they go into the sun like that. Think about it, how hard it is for us to, we're up here, but think about it for these guys going in and out of that sunlight.
There's the Dragonback section. I think, by the end of the night, they're going to be just doubling over that whole thing. Some guys like Eli Tomac. Oh, boy, hang on. You're down. He got out of there pretty decently for as bad a shape as he was in. Jim Hawley, I'm actually surprised to see those whoops cupping out a little bit and getting some ruts in them. I thought they'd be more hard pack.
Well, they would have been, but unfortunately, like you said, with the Feld track crew, they put in a lot of water.
Yeah.
And they don't want it to dry out, and when it's moist like that and the bikes are going into them, especially those A guys when they're slamming across them like that. But I think main event time, they'll be fine.
They'll still be tough. Definitely, they'll be fine, though. The whole track's going to be fine. On track walk, I spoke to some of the riders, and they're like, man, they put a lot of water down. And I'm just like, yeah, but you got to remember how good the main events have been, how good the traction has been in the night show. Number 384 there. That is Lorenzo Camporisi, our Italian friend. We'll hope he's okay.
Looked like he might have got the wind knocked out of him a little bit.
Jammed his wrist, knocked the wind out of him a little bit. These guys are tough. We say that every week.
That's going out of the coming back into the stadium now. We're getting a chance to look at R.J. Wageman there, hucking the big triple there. Let's see how he does it here. He's on the brakes, kind of taking it slow through that section there.
Not as aggressive, but
that's okay.
That's exactly.
This is his first professional
Keeper on 2
Supercross
wheels
race here.
Exactly. Pretty good style though. He'll start wicking it up here in a little bit. Obviously he needs to double that Dragonback section, but easier said than done. That's one of the most technical sections we've seen all season long.
Yeah, this is when you come back down into the straightaway. Like you said, you can watch him go through the gears there, makes that left-hander as he comes around. This is that other left-hander. See the ruts like you talked about, Andy. You got seat hop that, but see, he didn't step on and step off of that. That's where you got to carry your momentum. Let's see what he does. Oh, we're going to switch over to...
That's Cody Dofler.
Cody's sitting third right now. with a 1:15.7 as now we're back on RJ. Looks like Cody right there up and over that finish line jump. Gonna be hard for our camera guy to follow him outside.
Right, a lot of track to cover. Yeah, that's kind of the theme. Big stadium, big track, fast track. Like you just mentioned, does go outside the stadium.
Well, think about it. Traditionally, if you have, 1 minute lap time, the main event's going to be 15 minutes. But the lap times we're seeing here is we're getting a chance to look at Trey Canard coming by our booth there. Not riding tonight, but just doing the work for Honda, helping out Seeley's. We see a couple of the guys, some of the Feld track crew helping out some of the riders.
And Dimitri Rolando there, facing the wrong way in the whoops, but no worse for the wear. Yeah, I talked to Trey down there on track walk, and good spirits. He's just bummed. They train so hard, and they have the championship in mind for many months. And Camparisi.
Dr.
Bodner
down there talking to him and stuff, and looks like he might have got a little bit more. Their doc's checking his wrist.
A little bit of a wrist.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll be okay.
Nice style over the triple there. Checkered flag is out. And Casey Brennan with a 1:12.6. That's 3 seconds faster than the next fastest rider, Tyler Custer, and Cody Doeffler, Alex Harville, and Zach Gurley, rounding out the top 5.
And after that, in that 6 there, like you talked about, RJ Wageman with a 1:18, and then Lorenzo Camparisi, who we saw going off the track with an injury to his wrist, at a 1:18 also. So not bad time. I'm sure they'll learn a little bit more, and they'll make some changes on the bike when they come out for their final practice.
Tough track, long start, inside the building, outside the building. Got a lot of water. There we are.
That's a nice shot
MX
right there.
Versus ATV Supercross Encore starting line. Look how far down that is, Jim Hawley.
That's a long way. And you got to remember where they're lining up just ahead of the starting gate there. That's probably 40 feet back. So when race time comes, that's 40 more feet you got to drive into that turn. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be a treat to see on Fox Sports 2 tonight, as well as Fox in your regional areas.
That's right. And we hope you, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We want to thank all of our international guests. We have a good show for you on Race Day Live. I have a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of exciting guests. We're going to have Colt Nichols. One of the biggest stories from Oakland was Oklahoma's Colt Nichols, second place,
Yeah.
And not a lot of wasn't the most highly touted kid, but I did talk to Ashley Phillips and Robbie Raynard, and they said, look out, this guy's riding good.
Well, and they've known the kid since he was 12 years old. Ashley said he lived with us during the summers and everything, so it's going to be interesting to see, how he's developed. They have the inside line with him. That Robbie's been working with him for a lot of years, and you can tell, Andy, you've seen guys come out. You can tell when you're out at a track, and you see a kid, you go, that kid's got what it takes.
Right. Like we talked about Austin Faulkner winning in Greensboro last weekend. That's another kid I got to watch at Loretta Lynn's this summer. And I've seen him on 80s, and I've seen him here and there. But when I saw him at Loretta's, and then I saw him at the Monster Energy Cup, I was like, wow, he has that special talent that it takes to succeed at the highest level of Supercross racing in the world.
Well, and you mentioned that Monster Energy Cup. He hasn't lost a main event
Undefeated.
There. 85s, big bike, 250. It doesn't matter.
Got 250A qualifying number 1 coming up. First time out these guys, it was Joey Savacci, Jimmy D, Zach Osborne, Christian Craig, and Cooper Webb were the top 5 in the first one. That could shake up a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they shut them down. Everybody kind of killed the motors down there. They're kind of waiting on something, but I don't see any track guys out there working on anything, or the Feld track crew. But that's not to say they're not doing something outside the
There's Joey Savacci. Those guys were pretty pumped in that camp. It was 2014 Martin Davalos at Arlington, correct?
Yep.
Last time they won.
East Coast.
And, I always see Bones down there after the race and give him a handshake if one of his racers is on the podium. And he comes up and just gives me a big old when Bones gives you a hug, you know about it. And he was pretty happy. And Congratulations to those crew, that crew.
They've been fighting it. I mean, think about it. He would have a little bit more of a lead if he didn't have problems in that first Anaheim race. You know, he only scored, I think, 13 points, but since then he's been consistently
hasn't
on
given
the
up.
podium.
Yeah, I remember he stacked it up in the whoops at the second Anaheim round when the rider was down and he kind of got distracted there and went over the bars, but still salvaged a pretty good finish and just keeps swinging. Now he has the red plate. So.
Yeah, and you talked about it, earlier. Savachi with 78 points, 2 points down, sitting in second. Cooper Webb, third. Zach Osborne with 73. He's 5 out of it. And then, Colt Nichols sitting fourth in the points, 13 out of it. And then Christian Craig, only 16 out of the lead. So, all those guys definitely have an opportunity. And they saw what happens. Anything can happen racing, and we saw it last weekend.
They're off. 250 Group A qualifying number 1. This is going to be exciting. These guys were on the gas. Let's see what kind of rhythm, rhythms these guys hook up and who triples in coming out of the stadium.
Behind him, Jimmy Dakota's there. And Jimmy kind of likes these longer, starting line. I talked to him. He says, I'm kind of digging this long starting line. I know my Geico Honda's got the power. And
a lot of talk about the motors on the Geico Hondas. Christian Craig said his bike's super fast, one of the fastest ones, or actually the fastest one he's ever ridden. But the Huskies and the KTM aren't lacking horsepower either. All the factory bikes are fast,
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to a couple of the guys that should be in here. Luke Cloud, unfortunately, having that problem last weekend, and also Brock Shoemaker getting off last weekend in Oakland. They're not here, but we wish him a speedy recovery.
Osborne, he could sneak up and get one of these wins, too. He's been really aggressive this year. Obviously, one of the more experienced racers in the 250 field. There's Colt Nichols, number 69. He was extraordinarily fast in the first untimed qualifying session. Was on top of the board for a little while.
Well, and think about it. Osborne in San Diego, remember when he had that podium and he fell and he dropped back?
Yep.
He's only 5 points down. If he would have held on to that second, he would have that red background right now.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's just that's kind of how the saying in racing goes. Anything can happen. Dungey's got a 22-point lead, but one mistake, one tiny mistake, one part failure, and it's an absolute hornet's nest in the points. Colt Nichols looking good through there.
There's our guy. Isn't he going to be a guest today?
There's that double.
We got him scheduled. I know Teresa Hayward working with Christina Denny. Got him scheduled, penciled in to come on the show. He'd probably come in after this practice.
Yeah, probably so. Can't wait to talk to him. A lot of talk about him right now. Very nice kid, very humble, very good with his interviews.
Well, and if you look back to some of the archives last weekend in Oakland, what was I talking to him prior to him even going out to that main event? I go, don't think that this kid's not opening up eyes for, a different ride. And unfortunately for Christina Denny, they don't have the budget like some of these other teams going.
Yep.
He may move on next year.
But they got him now, so they can enjoy the fruits of his labor right now. And when I'm sure that they were over the moon about his second place finish last weekend. Oakland's been good to Christina Denny and Cyclotrader Rock River Yamaha.
Yeah.
Zach
Alex Martin last year riding for him, had his first podium in Oakland, and then followed up another podium in Santa Clara.
Man, been a tough road for Alex Martin so far. He was looking so good last weekend. Clipped that tough block and went down hard, but
4 laps to go. Can you believe it? I'm thinking, oh man, but he's ready to go here today. That's for sure. I talked to him. He says, I got to get on the podium this weekend.
He might.
There's that triple double as they come back into the stadium right there and stuff.
You're thinking maybe one of the 450 guys might quad that.
I don't know. I mean, that's a big jump to quad. I think if James Stewart was here, he would.
Yeah. He'd take a look at it for sure. In the early going, it is Christian Craig, Cooper Webb, Alex Martin, Colt Nichols, Mitchell Oldenburg rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, look at the times. A 104.6 for Christian Craig, Cooper Webb, a 105.0 for him. So they're considerably down from the B&C practices.
Sitting pretty good, 4th quickest. He's going to set out on a heater here. But sometimes we get a little heavy with our adjectives. This is timed qualifying, and what these races will do, some of you new viewers and they're new fans of the sport, they'll set up a lap. They'll make sure they have a little bit of a gap between riders and give themselves some space so they can put in a very, very hard lap to try to get his best qualifying position as possible.
Get a chance now to watch Alex Martin as he's going to rocket out of the stadium right there.
He's had the speed all season. Alex Martin he's had the speed. He just hasn't had the starts and hasn't had the luck. Unfortunately, in this sport, you need to have a lot of both.
Well, and I think now he's happy with his setup. You know, I know earlier in the first couple races, he really wasn't happy with the setup he had, and he's going in the right direction now. We saw that last weekend.
Osborne looks good. Completes another lap. Up to sitting pretty good. Fourth quickest. You know, he's going to set out on a heater here. But sometimes we get a little heavy with our adjectives. You know, this is timed qualifying, and what these races will do, some of you new viewers and they're new fans of the sport, they'll set up a lap. They'll make sure they have a little bit of a gap between riders and give themselves some space so they can put in a very, very hard lap to try to get his best qualifying position as possible.
Get a chance now to watch Alex Martin as he's going to rocket out of the stadium right there.
He's had the speed all season. You know, Alex Martin, he's had the speed. He just hasn't had the starts and hasn't had the luck. Unfortunately, in this sport, you need to have a lot of both.
Well, and I think now he's happy with his setup. You know, I know earlier in the first couple races, he really wasn't happy with the setup he had, and he's going in the right direction now. We saw that last weekend.
Osborne looks good. Completes another lap. Up to.
He really wasn't happy with the setup he had, and he's going in the right direction now. We saw that last weekend.
Osborne looks good. Completes another lap. Up to. I talk about the size of this, just a little.
Wow. Get out of my way, I'm on a heater.
Throws a tear off at him.
Well, Cooper Webb now up at the top.
104.
Right yeah, Alex Martin with a 104. That last lap, he 104.6. So you got three guys up in the 104s, and you have three guys in the 105s.
Yeah.
Ever. Actually, they just rode around the whoops.
You don't like that?
Uncharacteristic of those guys, but no, I think they might have wanted to go in and talk to one of their mechanics or something.
I think that's Fast Freddie Noren right there, number 43. Triples out of there. Rockets out of the stadium. Believe that's the Ross, Martin. Hard to tell sometimes between Christian Craig and Jordan Smith, number 38 and 39. Not hard to tell number 1, though. And he is atop this qualifying number 1. With a little over 2 minutes to go, it is Cooper Webb, Zach Osborne, Alex Martin, Christian Craig, and James Dakotas.
Yeah, it was nice how he did that back-to-back dragon back right there before you made that right-hander and came on and start. See those grooves starting to develop in those first turn, the blue groove right there. 3 different ruts coming out of that corner.
That was nice. Wheelies into the whoop section. Total commitment. Really trusting that front tire, standing on the pegs, heading into the berm. Got a little traffic here.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing. But he's used to coming through traffic.
Yeah, he just had a little traffic. See ya. Bye, Felicia.
Minute 20 to go here.
But, wow, this is going to be a good lap. I talked about it a little bit last weekend, Cooper Webb with his wheel placement. It's amazing.
Yeah, he can go anywhere with that
Let's see if he beat his 104.2.
Yep.
103.4. Almost a second faster. That was a lap, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, now you're seeing Zach Osborne with a 104.2. So like you said, Andy, down there talking to Lurch, his mechanic. He's done.
Yeah, Eric Gass said, get on, we're good.
He's out of here. I like that time.
Yep, bike's perfect.
Lurch was probably asking, hey, can I talk to you on the podium? No, we got to go back and change a few things. He thinks he can go faster.
Right.
Kyle Cunningham right there. Another top 10 for Kyle Cunningham last week.
Starting to come together. Not a lot of time on the bike. Lots of lost the rear end a little bit in the whoops there. Scott Champion there, and then there's Zach Osborne again. Zach's got the whoops dialed in. He looks super straight. He's got the bike planed out, tracking over the top of him. Lots of momentum. Checkered flag is out.
Webb, 103.4. I think that's going to hold up.
I believe it will too. Top 5 as they are completing 250 Group A qualifying number 1. Cooper Webb, Zach Osborne, Christian Craig, Alex Martin, James Dakotas. On through the top 10, Joey Savacci 6th, Colt Nichols 7th, Mitchell Oldenburg 8th, Jordan Smith 9th, and Kyle Cunningham rounding out the top 10. 103, I don't know, Jim, do you think the 450A guys are going to creep under a minute? I don't know if you can knock a second off of that.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe get a sub-minute lap time?
You got a little bit longer track here. You know, the 450 is obviously a lot more faster, but, you know, not too many switchbacks, tighten up. This is a fast course here.
So there you have it. That's the results from the 250A qualifying number 1. Cooper Webb was the fastest guy. You know, a lot of the other usual suspects look fast. Christian Craig looked fast. Colt Nichols, look at that, jumped up to 2nd place right there at the very end with a 104 flat. So Colt Nichols wanting to back up that podium finish. What do you think? Can he do it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's feeling real confident.
Bike seems to be hooked up. He's feeling good. Here we are down with Ashley Phillips and
I know
Zach
this track
Osborne.
is different than what we've seen all year. We're in a football stadium. Does it kind of feel good to let your legs loose and get some speed under you?
For sure, it feels good. The bike's working good today. I'm coming in a little under the weather, but I feel good so far, and just trying to put it up there in the main event.
All right, Zach, is there anything that you're going to work on with your team, or maybe just rest up before you come out for another round of qualifying?
Nope, just some rest and try to get fresh as I can.
All right, well, best of luck. Zach Osborne, a little under the weather, have you just heard him said, but he is 3rd fastest qualifier here today. We'll see him
coming up next.
The big boys, there's just ahead of the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. That's a nice look down as you run it down into that left-hander.
Boy, I tell you, the butterflies, you know, lined up with 22 of the best 450 Supercross riders in the world when they kick off those heat races.
I think it's such a long starting line. I think they should have something off to the side where they shut off in their braking points.
Right.
I mean, that's a long way to get down there.
Yeah, well, they put that. I think that's what the hump is, Jim Hawley.
Slow it down?
Well, just to let you know, there is going to be a corner eventually up here.
Yeah,
so.
That's only halfway.
Right. But it's going to produce some spectacular starts.
Well,
Can't
you
wait
got to
see
remember, 22 guys are going to be going into there. So
narrows down a little bit. It gets tight. It's going to be a little bit of cat and mouse.
What do you think if we had a speedometer on their bike? What do you think that top speed would be?
65, 70 miles an hour for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
You know, it's that doesn't sound like a super high top speed, but the manner of which it gets to that top speed, very fast. Doesn't take a 450 factory bike long to get up to 65, 70 miles an hour. 2nd gear, 3rd gear, you're pretty much there. 4th gear.
Yeah.
Things start looking a little weird when you're 4th gear wide open on a 450. And
we'll see if Dungey comes out. You know, that first free practice for Dungey, he was one of the first ones out there, and that's, he's doing a lot of things different this year. But I guess you can do that when you got that number 1 place. We're getting a chance to look at Dungey right there next to Cole Seeley there, number 14.
He's feeling it. It's been a while. I didn't expect anybody to dominate this year. We're only 4 rounds in. This is round number 5 here in University of Phoenix Stadium. But the manner of which Dungey's got that 22-point lead is so convincing. No mistakes.
No. I mean, you look at a guy like that, and that's how you want to implement your riding style. You want to be just like him. What do we have? The other day when I was driving, I said, how can you describe Ryan Dungey? Smooth, fast, and consistent.
Yeah. All of them, very much so. Very smooth, very fast, very consistent. A lot of people like to play up his consistency, but hey, you don't win races being consistent. You win races being fast, fast.
He's fast.
Roczen went to the afterburner last weekend and kind of put a dent in his lead. Dungey looked over his shoulder and said, watch this.
Picked it up a notch.
Hung about 4 or 5 seconds on him.
Yeah.
So that just shows how good his bike is working, how high his confidence is. And there's number 25.
Yeah, next to him, that looks like Alex Ray.
Yeah, Alex Ray and Marvin Muskin. Might want to keep your eye on Marvin Muskin again tonight for your fantasy picks. Talent-wise, he's down there training with Jason Anderson. Ryan Dungey at the Baker factory, he's strong. Once he gets confident on that 450, look out. We're going to have a new player up there in the top 5, mixing it up with Cole Seeley, Chad Reed, Jason Anderson, Eli Tomac. It just gets me excited, you know, going through the top 5 in our classes this year.
Yeah, well, and the other thing, too, like you mentioned with Marvin Muskin, that champion on the East Coast, I mean, I think he likes the softer, ruddier tracks when we head back there. And, you know, if he's getting podiums now, he's only going to get better.
Only going to get faster.
Anderson is chomping at the bit to get out there. Anderson wants to get out there first with Dungey. Dungey's going to get out there running it down in there, and then here comes Anderson right behind him.
There they go. First time around, it was Ken Roczen, Justin Brayton, Dungey, Seeley, and Anderson were the top 5. Let's see how that shakes up here. 450A, qualifying number 1. Double out
now,
at the stadium.
You know, we did see something out of character for Ryan Dungey last weekend. He had a little bit of a tip over in qualifying.
Yeah, he fell over.
You don't see that too many times.
Makes that triple look effortless there. Pretty nasty section right there. Full commitment after the triple.
Yeah, and you talk about a lot of guys right now. You're going to see some numbers that are missing out there. 19 Bogle, 4 Baggett, Barsha 51, the number 7 Stewart, Canard 41, Wilson 15, and then of course Andrew Short, number 29, hasn't started the season yet, but hopefully I hear good things. He might be there next weekend when we're
Shorty?
in San Diego. Yeah, Shorty.
Yeah, I guarantee you he's seeing this start right here and just like saying, man.
Oh, man, I could have got $1,500 from supercrosslive.com for the whole shot.
It was almost automatic last year. You know, he was good on short starts, long starts. There they go. First time around, it was Ken Roczen, Justin Brayton, Dungey, Seeley, and Anderson were the top 5. Let's see how that shakes up here. 450A, qualifying number 1. Double out at the stadium.
You know, we did see something out of character for Ryan Dungey last weekend. He had a little bit of a tip over in qualifying.
Yeah, he fell over.
You don't see that too many times.
Makes that triple look effortless there. Pretty nasty section right there. Full commitment after the triple.
Yeah, and you talk about a lot of guys right now. You're going to see some numbers that are missing out there. 19 Bogle, 4 Baggett, Barsha 51, the number 7 Stewart, Canard 41, Wilson 15, and then of course Andrew Short, number 29, hasn't started the season yet, but hopefully I hear good things. He might be there next weekend when we're
Shorty?
in San Diego. Yeah, Shorty.
Yeah, I guarantee you he's seeing this start right here and just like saying, man.
Oh, man, I could have got $1,500 from supercrosslive.com for the whole shot.
It was almost automatic last year. You know, he was good on short starts, long starts. You, Jim, take as much time as you need, you know, in career, but
there's Kenny Roczen now up to the top. Well, and he goes out to the practice track and watch.
But you can tell when your guy's looking good.
Yeah.
Track's starting to harden up a little bit.
Oh, Dungey Rivera there. Let's see what he's going to do. What kind of change is he going to make?
So with a little over 6 minutes to go, Ken Roczen, Ryan Dungey, Jason Anderson, Cole Seeley, Marvin Muskin rounding out the top 5. 14th right now, so he hasn't put in a good lap yet, but he surely will.
Cole Seeley, we're getting a chance to look at there.
There's Jeff Alessi.
Jeff Alessi been putting in some good rides, you know, getting that bike in the main event.
Dungey back on track. Christoph Porcel. Will Hahn got his first top 10 of the season last weekend. Good step in the right direction. Kept it on 2 wheels.
Sitting 11th in the points right now. There's Kenny.
Flying out of the stadium. Weston Pike. There's Cade Clayson. Cool story. I met Cade Clayson's grandma on my flight when we got off the airplane. Yeah.
Nice.
She kind of was, she saw the Monster Energy Supercross polo I had on and asked about the show. And so it's nice to meet her. We're going to wish Cade very good luck. He made the main event in Oakland last weekend.
Yep.
You know, hard charging privateer. Hope he does well. I always like that when you meet the families of these racers that are, you know, traveling and hear their stories.
Yeah.
And
Chad Reed right now.
Uh-huh.
Chance to look at him. 4 minutes and 48 seconds to go here.
Chad actually jumped up to the 4th position there, so good lap for him.
Yeah, look who jumped to the top though. Eli Tomac with a 102.7.
It could be the night we see Eli Tomac unleash it. You know,
sounds like a radio station, 102.7.
But Tomac won Phoenix last year. Epic battle with Ken Roczen. Chad Reed's been pretty tough. You know, he's been in the top 5 all season. Had a couple of second place finishes. He finds himself tied for second in the points. You know, when you talk about guys that need a win, number 3, number 22, that would go a long ways.
Yeah, especially you talk about a guy like Eli Tomac.
Yeah, 7th last weekend.
Sitting 6th in the points. He's already 29 points out
over
of the lead.
A full race.
I mean, you definitely got to start winning races, and hopefully somebody can get in between you and Dungey. You know, maybe Dungey finishes 3rd. You're going to pick up 5 points, but that's already a full race lead ahead of everybody.
A lot of racing to go still. You know, round 5 of 17. Wow, Tomac looks really fast.
Well, I talked to his dad, John Tomac, before the start of the show, and they made some changes because I specifically asked him about that front end because we've seen him lose it in Anaheim. We saw him lose it last weekend.
What'd they have to say?
Made some changes to the bike, put a little bit more weight on that front end. You know, I thought it might have been, you know, coming out of the corner, maybe shifting his weight back too soon, maybe hanging in there. He says, yeah, we kind of thought, but we wanted to put a little bit more weight on that front end. So what that does is maybe they raised up the
forks, different triple clamps, maybe
a little bit getting that front end to get some more weight on that front
maybe
end.
Some different pull rods.
Looks like it's working today. He
looks
fast in the corners.
That said,
Dungey,
jeez,
a 102.7 also. So Dungey a 102.753. Now Anderson at a 102.761, and now jump Kenny Roczen up to the 102.6 now. So it's
getting exciting.
Yeah.
Roczen, Dungey, Anderson, Tomac, Seeley, your top 5 with a little over 2 minutes to go in 450A qualifying number 1. Going to be a good show tonight on FS2 at 7 p.m.
Let's see, Eli's coming in and talk to his mechanic there. And Brian Krantz.
Brayton. Couldn't see his bike, but you could tell by his shoulders it wasn't looking pretty in the whoops. About 2 minutes to go, Jim Hawley. Ken Roczen, fastest again. Just 1/10 faster than Dungey.
Phil Nicoletti right there. Like to see Phil get in that top 10, maybe a wild card pick.
I'll tell you who you might want to look out of Phil is a whole shot. Those JGR engines are some of the fastest in the world of Supercross racing. And
and you just that put a little thing in my mind when he came back. San Diego, he whole shot in one race. He drove it in so deep he went off the track. So hang on to it, Phil. We got a left-hander at the end of there.
Right.
Kenny Roczen right now, just kind of rolling things.
He's my guy. I guess I'm picking Kenny tonight. I picked him last week. I thought he was ready to do it, but Dungey's just so strong right now. You know, you talk about things that you're not used to seeing out of Dungey. Fastest qualifier, extremely aggressive at the beginning of this. Yeah, Kenny's pulling in to maybe get an adjustment.
Oscar Vitterman, let's see what he does. Takes off the headset. And you notice all the mechanics have headsets, all the team managers up in the tower and everything. They're relaying information down that they can relay to Kenny Roczen right now. Maybe, hey, try this little thing here, try this, try that.
Carrie's watching, RC's watching, Mark Johnson's watching, Kyle.
Now he's got one ear up to the tower and one ear in Kenny's. No changes to the bike, just maybe something that they saw up in the tower at their vantage point. Yeah. Let's try this.
Dungey looks like he's on an aggressive lap here. See if he jumps back up to the top.
Anderson moved up a little bit now, 102.709.
Ryan Dungey back to the top, 101.6. He's flying, man. He's just flying.
Now, Ken Roczen's out there, though, now. Maybe, you know, Oscar told him something that what Dungey was doing. Let's see if it...
So we're getting closer and closer to going a sub-minute lap time. You know, and like when they work on the track, when they come out for their second qualifying, they might drop another second.
Yeah, this one's over.
Checker flag is out.
Kenny's not going to do it.
Checker flag's out. Ryan Dungey, 101.6. Ken Roczen, second fastest. Followed by Eli Tomac, Jason Anderson, Justin Brayton rounding out the top 5. Followed by Cole Seeley, Chad Reed, Marvin Muskin, Christoph Porcel, and Weston Pike rounding out the top 10. But Dungey with a 106.6, exactly 1 second faster, a whole second faster than Kenny Roczen. So that was a lap. He put everything together, hit all of his corners, railed the whoops. That's we just can't call him the Diesel. I haven't called him the Diesel all year because he's shot out of a cannon.
He's definitely a new rider. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, you see him doing different things that you don't normally see him do last year. Case in point would be, you know, when he gets out here, he's starting right away, and he's just going right up to the front right away.
Yeah.
And he's just not, and his starts are a lot solid this year, you know, and just, you know, that's what happens. You know, he's you know, you got to remember he's got a year now under his belt working with Alden Baker and stuff.
And Carlos, you know, he's been with him for a while. But we're going to have Dungey on the podium here.
Let's go down to Lurch.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the Red Bull KTM, the number 1, the red background plate. It's Ryan Dungey, 101 and some change. Man, that last lap, you just ripped it off a second faster than your competitors.
Yeah, no, just trying to get comfortable, you know, and make some adjustments. That's what we're out here practicing for, and trying to get a good time. So that's key, but whole team Rebel KTM got the bike feeling good and just trying to stay on it. You know, we got a little more practice left, so if we can get a little bit better, that's great. But this track's fast, a lot of speed, a lot of rhythm, and got to be on your marks.
You know, when you talk, it's obviously a long track. When you talk about being fast, still times at the 101 for you on that one. What do you think of the new layout, new stadium? A little different, switchbacks here and there, and a gnarly set of whoops once again.
Yeah, it's always good. The track's always challenging, you know, so. But for the riders, you know, to race in a different venue, and for the fans and the crowd, it's kind of cool, something different, and switch it up.
Go have fun. He's going to go talk to his team and get it all set straight with Roger DeCoster and the boys. Let's give it up for the Red Bull KTM.
And welcome back. And joining us right now is Colt Nichols from the Cycle Trader Rock River Yamaha organization, fresh off a second place in Oakland. Welcome to Race Day Live, man.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, you did your interview and stuff, and you've talked about it, but we want to ask you to talk about it again. You know, what were you thinking as the laps were winding down? You're like, man, I'm in second place. This is pretty awesome. How was that?
It was it was kind of a surreal feeling for sure. You know, I've wanted to do that for so long, and I've worked so hard to do that. And then, man, at first I felt like I was riding really good, kind of like I do at the practice tracks.
Yeah.
Just putting in laps, man. I was putting in laps, putting in really clean laps, and then. Once I realized I was in second, it's kind of when stuff started to like come kind of fast. You know, I made a few small mistakes and just a few small things, but that's okay. I mean, I think that's expected for the first time. But overall, man, I'm happy with how we handled it. And overall, man, it was a good night for me.
Well, something that I noticed when we were doing the qualifying, we were calling it, you know, you look good in practice. You felt comfortable. Did you like that track, and how do you like this track here in Phoenix? Because you got 2 different tracks now.
Yeah, definitely two ends of the spectrum from last weekend to this weekend. And no, last weekend I just felt aggressive all day. You know, from the first lap of practice, me and Chris, the team manager, we were kind of going over some strategy in practice, and we decided to take off first to get with that front group, and then you know, try to put the laps in early. And that really helped me a lot last weekend. And we tried to translate that to this weekend, and we just got done with practice. I think I qualified second that time, if I'm not mistaken.
You did, but and that with a 104.0, and that was kind of towards the end of that practice qualifying session.
Yeah, that was my very last lap.
Yeah.
So before, I was kind of struggling a little bit in a few sections, and then I took a lap to kind of cool down and really took it slow and checked out the track and then ended up putting down a good lap right there at the end. So honestly, man, it was a good weekend for us to keep building on, and I'm hoping this weekend we can just keep the ball rolling.
We're getting a chance now. We're in a split screen here, and we're getting a chance to see the 450 Group B out there practicing. How are the whoops? We see a lot of the C guys kind of struggling with them. The A guys are getting through them all right, and then the B guys, of course, they're getting through them okay.
Yeah, they're pretty technical tonight. They're really tall. They're tall like A2, but they're really close together. So that's making it a little easier to get through them. And then the left side of the whoops is getting pretty tore up, so everyone seems to keep going to that side.
The left side,
so, yeah, left side is getting pretty wore down. So I didn't figure out that line until the last lap. So, but yeah, the rest of the whoops are good. I think that's going to be a big separator tonight. Doing 15 consecutive laps to get through those whoops is going to be huge.
How was the start? You know, we've been talking about the start the whole show. I mean, when you turn around and look over your shoulder, you see how long it is. When you practice one, are you getting into fourth gear, fifth gear?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're going through the gearbox on that one for sure. It's honestly, I kind of like the big start. I think it's good for the fans, too. I think that's something different that they'll really enjoy, and I think it'll make it good. It'll make it interesting for racing.
You know, something came to my mind when I was riding them, dating myself, but when we rode at the LA Coliseum, we started from one end of the Coliseum, went down to the other, and you're duplicating that here tonight. But my question is, when you're on the starting line, you're good 40 to 50 feet before the starting gate.
Yeah.
So when you get into that first heat race, you're going to have 50 more feet of longer runway.
Yeah, which is something that's kind of weird. I almost wish we could get a little further back to practice that start, but overall, man, I think that start's going to be cool. I mean, that's like something new for the fans, and honestly, I think that'll be kind of a fun little thing to kind of incorporate into this track since it is so long.
Yeah.
Track's pretty, honestly, it's pretty simple for what it is. It's just technical because of the way the dirt's breaking down. It's getting really ruddy. It's getting holy. But overall, I think it's going to be a good night of racing for sure.
Well, and the other thing, when you came up, you were watching the the 450A guys. What are you looking for? Because you were out there with the fans, and I saw you, and I said, well, no, come up next to our set, get a little closer so you can see. But what are you looking at? I mean, obviously, a 450, they're doing everything you guys are doing out there. What are you looking for?
Honestly, mainly just to see how they flow throughout for some of the turns. I was watching Dungey, and he put down a lot of good laps. He didn't just do one. He put in multiple laps, and the way he was flowing around the track and a few of the lines he was hitting, he was setting up inside to outside, really using the whole track. And I was trying to incorporate that in what I was doing. So just to kind of see where he's going helps me. Then I can be like, okay, I know that line's good. He was using it a little bit. So just kind of honestly checking out the thing as a whole, seeing where everybody kind of floats into everything. But most of all of us are pretty much doing the same stuff. So.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I grew up riding with a guy that's been your training partner, Robbie Raynard. And that's always what he used to do, outside, inside, always making the most of the track and making it flow. Talk a little bit about working with Robbie and how he's helped you up your game a little bit.
Oh, that guy's been huge. And a lot of people don't know, but, man, I've been working with Robbie since I was 12 years old.
Right.
Like, I started when I was just a little guy. Him and now his fiance, Ashley Phillips. I moved up with them during the summers when I went to school. And, dude, without him, honestly, I'd be pretty lost. That dude helped me tremendously. I mean, with every aspect. Growing up as a person, you know, to becoming a man, becoming a better racer. He's just always been there for me, man. He supported me from day one. Him and
he's still fast, too.
Oh, yeah. He still goes good. At the practice tracks, man, he still gives me a run for my money. So to have a trainer like that not only can tell you what to do, but also can go out and do it, is something that's far and few in between. So to have him to really help me like that, dude, it's been huge for me. Huge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, like you mentioned, Ashley, she told us she used to do your laundry when you were 12 years old.
Yeah, she used to do the laundry, and, man, she puts up with all of us stinky boys during the summer, so she's honestly awesome. Both of them are such great people. And, dude, I'm just really pumped to have them in my corner.
Well, and how excited were you last weekend when you get a chance to be up on the podium for your first time and she's doing the interview?
Yeah, that was honestly pretty surreal. I mean, I've wanted to talk to her up there for so long. You know, I used to go to all these Supercrosses back before I used to race, and I used to see her up there, and I was like, man, I want to be up there one day talking to her. So to get to do that in that fashion was just, honestly, it was a great feeling for me.
It was cool. It was a great feeling for everybody because Jim and I always watched beside the podium, and Ashley kept running back, and she's like, where's he at? Where's he at? Like, he's still in second. He's still in second. I think he's got it. But it's a really cool story, man. We know you got a lot to do. We're going to, you know, congratulations on your second place finish. Congratulations for your team. You guys are going out there and beating the big boys, and you're climbing up the point standing. So good luck tonight. Good luck on the rest of the championship, and thanks for coming on Race Day Live, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. I appreciate it.
You want to say hi to Christine and Danny? I know she couldn't make it. Her
Most
husband,
definitely.
Chris, is here.
Most definitely.
Hi, Christine.
Yeah, I wish she was here. I think she'll be here next weekend, so I'm excited to get her back.
All right, man. Go out there and get another podium.
All right, thanks, you guys.
All right, everybody wish Colt good luck tonight. We got a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Great job. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces.
Stinky boys during the summer, so she's honestly awesome. Both of them are such great people, and dude, I'm just really pumped to have them in my corner.
Well, and how excited were you last weekend when you get a chance to be up on the podium for your first time and she's doing the interview?
Yeah, that was honestly pretty surreal. I mean, I've wanted to talk to her up there for so long. You know, I used to go to all these Supercrosses back before I used to race, and I used to see her up there, and I was like, man, I want to be up there one day talking to her. So to get to do that in that fashion was just, honestly, it was a great feeling for me.
It was cool. It was a great feeling for everybody because Jim and I always watched beside the podium, and Ashley kept running back, and she's like, where's he at? Where's he at? Like, he's still in second. He's still in second. I think he's got it. But it's a really cool story, man. We know you got a lot to do. We're going to, you know, congratulations on your second place finish. Congratulations for your team. You guys are going out there and beating the big boys, and you're climbing up the point standing. So good luck tonight. Good luck on the rest of the championship. And thanks for coming on Race Day Live, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. I appreciate it.
You want to say hi to Christina Denny? I know she couldn't make it. Her
Most
husband,
definitely.
Chris, is here.
Most definitely.
Hi, Christine.
Yeah, I wish she was here. I think she'll be here next weekend, so I'm excited to get her back.
All right, man. Go out there and get another podium.
All right, thanks, you guys.
All right, everybody wish Colt good luck tonight. We've got a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Great job. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Your car today.
Consistent clutch feel is vital to effective starts or to confidently maneuver around obstacles on the trail. Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil was subjected to an extreme simulated start test. After 32 simulated race starts, Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil continued to deliver consistent clutch feel, and the clutch plates remain clean with no visible wear. Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil. Out front performance.
We're for guys who like to make things go faster, higher, farther. Guys who want to be the top tech, get the W, and stand on the podium. Teams want you. Riders need you. Because without you, the bike stays in the pit, and championships aren't won. Top motorcycle manufacturers help build MMI's programs so you can get the education you need to achieve success. That's why top teams hire MMI grads. We're for success, your success. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. To learn more, visit mmitech.edu.
Get ready for RM Fantasy SX, the ultimate Monster Energy Supercross Fantasy Challenge from RockyMountainATVMC.com. We're giving away over $100,000 in prizes, and it's completely free to enter. Top season prizes include a brand new 2016 Toyota Tacoma, round-trip tickets with hotel to fly you and a guest to Rocky Mountain ATVMC to pick up your brand new customized FMF, KX450F, or KX250F. There's also a VIP trip for two to see the 2016 Monster Energy Cup in Las Vegas. 4th through 10th place season winners will be awarded prizes from Pirelli, GGR, Dunlop, Alpine Stars, DC, and others. Weekly prizes will be awarded from major brands. Just sign up on our secure game site, make your picks, and even get into group play to get your game on. And for more details, sign up today at rmfantasysx.com for ages 18 and older.
I just woke up one day and it clicked, and I'm like, I'm not just gonna be someone that rode a dirt bike and that tried. I'm gonna become the best. To be the best, it takes sacrifice, it takes a dream and a drive.
Striving to be the best, it's super critical to have a strong team behind you and a strong motorcycle. Being the best is everything, you know, that's what you want. It's where you want to be.
It all just comes down to how much passion you have for the sport.
Bike is everything to be the best.
Never give up, chase your dream, and if you work hard now and you sacrifice and you do what you're supposed to do, you can live the rest of your life as a champion.
The Yamaha Champion YZ450F and multi-champion YZ250F.
Right
Studios. Are you ready for more? MX versus ATV Supercross Encore. The off-road legend returns with the next generation of graphics. Set yourself up with all new gear and bikes. Tear up the track in outdoor nationals and waypoint races. Meet up and explore in free run. And for the first time ever, rhythm racing. Available now.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
Hey, I'm Chad Reed with the factory Yamaha Monster Energy 360 Fly Chaparral Race Team. You're watching Race Day Live.
Welcome back to University of Phoenix Stadium. It's round 5 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. We just had the 450B guys come off the track, but before that was the 450A guys, which means it's our second RM Fantasy SX fantasy pick segment. So
yeah,
I'm not going to waver very much. I think I'm sticking with 94, and I think Dungey's going to be second. I think Tomac's going to be third. For my 5th spot, I'm going to go with Marvin Muskin. For 8th, I'm going to go with Jake Weimer.
Yeah, I think for me, I got to agree. I got to stay with Kenny Roczen, but I'm going to go with, I think Anderson may be second after watching that. But how do you throw out Dungey? I mean, he had the fast time. He was so fast. I mean, he's definitely going to be on the podium, but where do you put him at? I think Eli Tomac also, you know, is looking good in practice. I mean, and then from, you know, here we're getting a chance to look at some of the viewers, what their picks are. They're saying Dungey's going to get 4 in a row, they're saying. And then Roczen at second, Anderson, Reed, 5th place at Tomac, and the wild card Millsaps. And maybe on the wild card, I'm thinking
place,
maybe, for 10th place that wild card. So I don't know. I'd like to see Nicoletti maybe get up there in that top 10. I know he's had a rough couple of rides, but he's got the speed to do it. And like you said, you talked about it earlier, Andy. This long starting line feels really good, and those JGR Yamahas are super fast. He can get the whole shot, run up there. You know, a couple of the guys are going to pass him, but if he can stay up there and manage to hang into that top 10, I think that'll be a bonus for him.
Right. That's all food for thought. Go to rmfantasysx.com and get signed up today. Play with everybody else and have a good time. And we're going to be back with more track action here coming up. We, you know, it's been good so far today. We got a lot of different rhythms. The whoops are big, long start stretch, some big jumps. Triple's big. And
somebody who really, you know, he did really well last week, and he looked good in the practice in that B section in the 450 that just finished up. Adam Enticknap had the fastest time, and then Teddy Parks. Good to see Teddy Parks up there in that second position.
3rd position was Chad Cook, my buddy from Oklahoma, so good to see him still swinging. I actually raced him a little bit at the end of my career back in the late 90s, and he's still out here going for it. 3rd in the 450B qualifying, so well done.
Getting a chance now to
look at the little guys.
Yeah, and they're going through the whoops just fine. Some of the C guys were having problems with it. The KTM Junior Supercross Challenge guys are getting through it. Those are big. If you put that motorcycle in between and looked across those whoops, if you were eye level with the top of the whoop, you wouldn't see that bike. That's how deep they are.
Oh, man, this is one of my favorite segments, the KTM Junior Supercross Challenge. But, that guy's having trouble. Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to Race Day Live today, all of our international viewers. We have a huge show. We're going to have Myra Tinahero reporting from down in the pits, from the BMX and the freestyle and the unknown industry Harley Wheelies. And also, Chasing the Dream is coming up. The Chasing the Dream premieres Sunday, February 14th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. Chasing the Dream, it's really cool. It gets behind the scenes. You get to see all the stories. Chasing the Dream coming up. You know, I mean, you get to go and see how Dungey trains, see how Anderson trains, and just kind of see, you know, what their life's like.
Very good segments. I mean, you get to see them in a different perspective. You know, you see them out here, but you really don't see what a Monday, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday looks like for them. You know, of course, Friday they're here, and Saturday, and then Sunday's a travel day. But I really enjoy those behind the dreams thing.
Yeah,
and don't forget Fox also tonight. Fox Sports
FS2.
2, FS2, but also in your local regional, Fox Regional here. So check that out also.
Right. But Chasing the Dream, check out the trailer. It's really cool. We hope you enjoy it.
This season on Chasing the Dream.
On a real level, like, we don't show up to Alden's and pay a lot of money to not be willing to take the sacrifices.
You know, there's no asking why. You know why you're doing it, and it's to get the top results.
The guy that's going to win Saturday night is going to be the guy that is able to block out all of the excitement, the distractions.
Just be confident in everything and you're fine.
That's going to be difficult.
Get forward, get the start. Here we go! It's the biggest, most prestigious, most hard-fought championship, and it's about to kick off live for 2016 right now.
I have definitely seen a spark in Chad Reed. He is not giving up.
And once again, Chasing the Dream premieres Sunday, February 14th, 12:30 Eastern Time on FS1. It's going to be really cool. There's a lot of hard work behind that production, and it's going to be very special. So looking forward to it.
Also something different for us this weekend. Not only that we are here in this humongous stadium at Universal of Phoenix, but our good buddy Snowman hooked us up with some Dunlop displays here. He cut those
some traction.
tires. Yeah, we got traction now on the stage.
Yeah, we got traction. We got a lot of things going on. Like we said, we have the BMX guys going on in the pits, freestyle, Harley wheelies, an amazing track. But actually, it's time for our Toyota Tailgate Talk, and we caught up with somebody last weekend. Let's go check that out, Toyota Tailgate Talk.
Well, welcome to this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk. We always say we go behind the scenes at Supercross Racing. I think this is the most important thing in Supercross, the Asterix Mobile Medical Unit, and to talk about it, Tommy Carson, a longtime friend of mine, old rival of mine, but they didn't have this kind of stuff when we raced.
No, not at all. I mean, you know, it goes way back to, when we professional riders, you and I, and all the guys our age, if you got hurt on the track, you went to the ambulance and you went for a ride to the hospital, or you kind of made the assessment yourself that, hey, I'm tough enough that I can go out there and, tough it out myself. Back then it was, if you're going to be stupid, you better be tough. And nowadays we bring a doctor, a trainer, a nurse, a full mobile medical center, and we want to eliminate that part of the equation for these guys to hopefully ensure a healthy and long career.
Talk a little bit about the Kurt Caselli Foundation and also the Road to Recovery. I know they're real instrumental on donating equipment to you guys.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate last year. The people with the Kurt Caselli Foundation, we've never had an ultrasound machine, and it was one of the things that if we suspected an internal injury, had to send them off to the hospital. So we worked with them. They provided a state-of-the-art ultrasound machine. We carry on our rig so that the doctor can maybe check that spleen or the lung or something of that situation where he suspects something on the inside. We are also fortunate that Road to Recovery has come on stronger each and every year. We just did the big deal, or they did for us, the Party in the Pasture at Kevin Wyndham's house. Those guys worked really, really hard down there. Kevin himself and obviously Max with Feld helped out with that, and they raised a great deal of money for us, and that has enabled us to keep our program going each and every year and obviously try and bring it up to another level.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we talked, Feld Motorsports, you told me that if it wasn't for Feld Motorsports, this thing wouldn't be rolling to all the Supercross rounds.
Yeah, absolutely not. We could not do this without Feld. They are behind it 100%. They pay the biggest amount, or they actually pay to have this thing here every year. They've realized the value in this from day one. Todd Gendro and Dave Prater helped me get this thing going over 15 years ago, along with Doc Bodner, and it has escalated to a level that requires a lot of money. It's not cheap to have a semi and a full medical staff, and Feld has stepped up each and every year, and if it costs more, they've been able to pay more, and we can't do it without Feld Motorsports.
Well, and the other thing, too, it's just not for the riders. Anybody here at a Supercross, it could be a mechanic, it could be myself. Last year I was in here getting IVs because I had food poisoning. I had to do the broadcast, so I went in there and got some IVs. But secretaries, anybody that works in the office, anybody affiliated with producing a Supercross race eligible to use this.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who basically has a hard card. I mean, this is basically a small family here, and I mean, we travel each and every week, so you know it's hard to maybe you don't get home every weekend. If you're a mom, a dad, a trainer, a mechanic, you hurt your thumb on your motorcycle working on your rider's bike, you can come in here. This medical service is provided free of charge. These guys here can assess whether, hey, we can help fix you up, or you need to go to the hospital and get further care.
Let me ask you this, Tommy, one last question. If anyone watching this video wants to donate, is there a website they can go to?
Yeah, you can actually go to our website, which is themedicrig.com. You can go to Road to Recovery. They've been helping us out and made it enabled to donate directly to the Astros Mobile Medical Center. So both of those websites you can go to, brings up the Astros Mobile Medical Center or how to donate to our rig.
Well, you heard it from Tom Carson, the man from the Asterix Mobile Medical Rig. Well, that's it for this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk. Make sure you check us out on supercrosslive.com.
So good to hear from Tom and the Asterix Medical Unit. Such a good program right there. You know, I just can't be grateful enough for what they do for the sport.
Well, Tom, you know, he used to race when I raced in that era, you know, and it's just good to see him, you know, giving back and, you know, getting together with Dave Prater and Todd Gendro and everybody at Feld and said, look, we need this, and how can we fund this and get it going? And that's why I asked him, you know, is there a way how you can donate? And like he said, roadtorecovery.com and themedicrig.com. But, you know, I mean, it's so instrumental in the sport. And, you know, to have the sport grow, you're going to have a rig like that. You need it here. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, hardworking guys. The other guys that are really hardworking are the MMI Top Tech mechanics. Blake Baggett's mechanic, Brandon Anderson, won that award last weekend. We caught up with him after the race, after Blake had a big crash and tore his bike all up. Here's what he had to say. You're a busy guy tonight. Blake had a bad crash in the heat race. What'd you have to fix on the bike?
Just bars, levers, brake rotor in between the heat and the semi, but we all got it done.
You learned how to do the tools of the trade at MMI. I understand you're a graduate.
Yeah, I graduated in 2006. Yep.
That's awesome. We have Blake back. You know, he looks pretty good. Had an unfortunate crash, but he's a tough kid. So you guys looking forward to the rest of the season, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. He had kind of a similar finish here last year, but we ended up 5th in points, so I'm not too worried. We'll be all right.
Yeah. Brandon and Blake are back for the remaining of the season. MMI Top Tech mechanic for this week. And unfortunately, Blake's not with us this week.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you look at that, and he had a 15th, and he's expecting, you know, to be here in Phoenix. But unfortunately, Blake just going to sit the weekend out. You know, it's just one of those things where, you know, you get a bruise or your shoulder's banged up a little bit. But they'll be back, and they'll be back strong next week in San Diego.
Right. Well, he was still a little beat up last weekend when he came back. You know, he had ribs and a collarbone, and then he went out and seat bounced endoed off that triple, and not very good. So he's going to, like you said, Jim Holly.
I was surprised to see that he came back for the
big
semi.
Crash.
Yeah, it was a big crash. And, you know, he rode off, and he immediately got you know, his mechanic, and he was kind of holding his shoulder a little bit. I'm going, man, I hope everything's okay. But they'll be here next week, Factory Suzuki.
Right. Well, speaking of MMI, we're going to have some special guests coming up from them. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Amsoil. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
This season on Chasing the Dream.
On a real level, like, we don't show up to Alden's and pay a lot of money to not be willing to take the sacrifices.
You know, there's no asking why. You know why you're doing it, and it's to get the top results.
The guy that's going to win Saturday night is going to be the guy that is able to block out all of the excitement, the distractions.
Just be confident in everything and you're fine.
That's going to be difficult.
Get forward, get the start. Here we go! It's the biggest,
prestigious, most hard-fought championship, and it's about to kick off live for 2016 right now.
I have definitely seen a spark in Chad Reed. He is not giving up.
Dodgy goes wide.
And welcome back to University of Phoenix Stadium. We have some very special guests from Amsoil joining us. We have Lynn Grooms and Jeremy Meyer. Welcome to Race Day Live, guys.
Welcome back. It's
Good to
be
see
back.
you guys.
Yeah, I'll take a handshake there.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks
you guys are home.
Yeah.
This is for MMI, Lynn. This is home for you guys, so to speak. I mean, you're the official oil of the MMI.
Yeah, we had a pretty good day on Thursday. We did a little sneak peek with some of the new product that Len's been developing and over at the MMI campus, and it's a great partnership for us to be out here in Phoenix. And we were here last year doing the same spiel a little bit.
You had some new stuff, and you're back, and you got more new stuff. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we came out with a dirt bike transmission oil and a new chain lube this year. Actually, the dirt bike transmission oil just came out this week, and Len can talk about the technical properties of that. He's the guy who developed it, and it helps us fill up our whole line of dirt bike oils.
Well, the interesting thing about some of these products are the fact that they're not just something that we relabeled. We actually spent a lot of time with both of these, believe it or not, in the dyno. So with a dirt bike chain lube, you'd think there wouldn't be that much to it, but in fact there actually is, where we did a ton of testing on the dyno. We ran the bike 25 hours on the dyno, just doing a bunch of different things because we were trying to build that product that'll stay on the chain yet won't pick up dirt. It sounds simple, but it really isn't. So we brought that out to supplement our dirt bike family. And then the tranny fluid with the I don't know if everyone will agree with me, but some of the resurgence in the two-stroke line, it's good to have a dedicated transmission fluid because some people will ask, hey, do you have something just for my two-stroke? I don't want to put a four-stroke oil in there, even though that's what most of them call for. So we brought this out. Again, there was a whole pile of testing into it, and it's all about the clutch feel, which you can relate to. That you want that certain confident type of a clutch feel where it's always there for you, and then it also has to not slip as you're going across the whoop. So all of those things went into testing the transmission fluid. So it was a busy year as far as that went.
Yeah, and you talk about it, Lynn, with the chain lube and everything. I mean, did you run it in some conditions? I mean, I know out here it's a little bit hot and dry and things like that, but did you run it under some mud conditions and things like that?
We did. We ran it in all different kinds of conditions possible. We ran it through the water. We ran it through the sand. I did some of the riding on it. We had some of the teams doing some of the riding on it. And you have to run through that same thing, that same water hole that you don't want to go through. So you keep going again and again and again. And we changed it. I want to say we changed that stuff 5 or 6 different times to try and get it just right to deal with those types of conditions.
The other thing, we're on the big screen right now, and everybody in the stands can watch. We have Lynn and Jeremy Meyer from Amsoil, and you talk about your new oil here. I kind of like the logo here, and this is on all the bottles, the Monster Energy Supercross logo.
That's correct.
Yeah, it was our partnership as official oil of Monster Energy Supercross and of course Amsoil Arena Cross. We wanted to help promote that relationship, and we started it last year with our 3 dirt bike oils, and it just, it transitioned into the dirt bike transmission oil.
Right. You guys have a lot of exciting things going on. You're giving away a Kawasaki Terex 4LE side-by-side. That thing's down there in the pits. It looks spectacular. Tell us a little bit about your contest.
Yeah, it's a partnership with MMI and, of course, Kawasaki. They helped us out this year by getting involved with it. We've done a number of contests with MMI throughout the years, and to be able to give away that LE is pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
And you can do it, winThatRide.com, or just go to AmsoilRacing.com and click on the buttons there, take the quick survey, and so we know who you are and what you're doing. But yeah, somebody in August is going to walk away with a brand new Terex.
Well, one other thing I wanted to ask you, Jeremy, the Amsoil Arena Cross Series over there on the east, actually in Colorado this weekend, but you guys have been dominating over there with the Monster Energy Babbitts team.
Yeah, those guys they've got one heck of a program. When you get some sweeps, they started the season out with the 3 guys sweeping it, and they've been good every week. Faulkner got in there a little bit last weekend and swept it, which is good for the program. It's good for that program. It's good for Supercross to get those guys in and really to learn what it's all about. And I think it's really proven itself now going into the 2nd, 3rd year that it is a great place to develop these guys for Supercross.
Right. You speak about Arena Cross and the whole rebranding. I'm sure you guys noticed, and you signed on to be the title sponsor again. And a lot of effort went into that series, and they've come out swinging. Austin Faulkner, the new Phenoms, won. Are you guys pleased with the Arena Cross series? You almost have to be.
Oh, we have to. I mean, when they pitched us on not being just the official oil, but also into the title sponsorship role, they said, hey, we're going to put a lot of effort into this. The guys at Feld, the whole team at Feld said, this is going to be one of our babies over the next few years, and you saw that, and you saw the dedication to it and everything that they've done with it. So from a sponsorship standpoint and even from a product development standpoint with the guys at Babbitt's, it's great. And now this weekend we got Chase Sexton racing in Colorado Springs, had a 2.5 to start out the year, and hey, he's fast and he's getting his points in for next year.
You know, Lynn, I want to ask you, getting back to your new oil again, you know, for a lot of people that are watching this and listening to the show, Race Day Live, when do you change the transmission oil? I mean, you hear different things, and I mean, you know, I'm sure you guys have tested and developed. When's the best time? How many hours?
That's an interesting question, and you start asking those, and everybody's got their opinion. Basically, you can leave it in there for quite a long time, to be honest with you. But what we do is we allow the rider or the engine builder to kind of dictate that. Generally, if I were to make a recommendation to you, I would say leave it in there as long as the bike manufacturer wants you to leave it in there. Now, there are guys that change it after every moto. These guys are changing the oil a lot. So we thought of that when we built this product. So it's designed to last over the course of how long the bike manufacturer wants it to stay in there. But then at the same time, if you're going to change it out, you're not going to hurt anything. So again, we don't want to get into that argument. We just say change it when you feel you need to change it.
But cheap insurance. I mean, you know, that oil's going through the motor and everywhere.
That's correct.
I mean, it's cheap insurance to do it.
Right, but we generally will test it. We'll take what the bike manufacturer wants you to run it for. We'll double it, and then we'll run it on the dyno and in the field at double. So everything that we test at double what's recommended to be sure that it's performing at that level.
That's awesome. Yeah, of course, Amsoil is the official oil of MMI. We have an awesome segment with that we did yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look at that and see how that worked out.
Well, that's the number 39, the man who rides that motorcycle, Jordan Smith. But the man who spins the wrenches here, Ricky Rock. I like that name, man, Ricky Rock. Hey, you guys are, I've been seeing Jordan. He's out front now. He's getting good starts and things like that. You're not too bad in the points, though. But when am I going to see him win one of these things?
Hopefully soon. You know, he's been getting great starts. These Geico Hondas have been pulling really hard off the line. So it's just a matter of time for him. He likes racing. He loves what he does, and he's got the heart to win. So.
Well, I know you like working on the motorcycles, and Amsoil, they're a big sponsor of the Geico Amsoil Honda team here. You use a lot of Amsoil here in the bike.
Oh, yeah. Motor oil, training oil, it's all Amsoil. Does a great job at protecting our engines. Great feel on the clutch. They just make a great product, and we love having them part of our team.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Hondas, there's two different spots you can put the oil. There's one for the lower end, there's one for the top end.
No, yeah, that's 100% true.
So on that there with the clutches, do you change the oil after every race?
Yeah, we try to change the oil after practice, and then we'll go into the night show with fresh oil.
But not only does Amsoil make oils, but other things like contact cleaner, chain lube, things like that, radiator fluids.
Yeah, we actually use our radiator fluid. They just came out with a chain lube that's really good.
And Ricky, thanks, and good luck this weekend in Phoenix.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have another very special guest, Terry Emig from MMI. Welcome to Race Day Live, man.
Hey, good to be here, guys. Thanks for inviting us out.
Good to see you, Terry.
Good to
what
see
do you
Holly.
think about the stadium we're in?
This is crazy. Of course, we've been doing this in Phoenix for a long time now, so for us to be able to move it from Chase Field, where the Diamondbacks play, into Cardinal Stadium, we're going to see a lot more people here. Hopefully we sell out this weekend, but it's a lot of fun. It's real close to our campus.
Right. You have two campuses, right? One here, one in Orlando. But this one's home for you. You guys got to be excited about the series and knowing that everything's coming to your hometown. I'm sure a lot of your employees are here, and you guys are set for a good night of Supercross racing.
We are excited. I mean, we just had Jeremy and the Amsoil group over at the campus just on Thursday. Certainly, we brought in the Geico, Amsoil Supercross team. All three of their techs were at the campus, as well as the riders. They give great insight to our students on what it takes to get to this level. Ricky Rock was a perfect example.
Well, Terry, you've been around a long time. I mean, I've had you on the show numerous times, and we talk about it each and every year. When it first started out, maybe you had one or two graduates from MMI, but I think there's probably 70% of the mechanics are graduates of MMI in that pit area.
Oh, Holly, I hope so. I know we did a survey a while back, and we found that out of the top 20 teams, 16 of those teams had MMI graduates, and those guys had gone through an intern program that we started several years ago, through Wonder Warthog Racing with a bunch of privateers. Those guys started to network themselves. They had a lot of passion, and eventually they ended up on some of the best teams out there.
Any other campuses maybe in the future maybe we could see opening up, maybe across the pond or somewhere?
You never know. I mean, on our UTI side, which is our parent company, we are opening up new campuses around the country. On the MMI side, we've got the Phoenix campus and, of course, Orlando. KTM has come to us and said, hey, they've got some interest in doing something over in Southeast Asia. And we're working with Sal and some of the others from KTM on that. That may happen, it may not, but there's an interest. And so for now, we're camped here in the United States with 2 great campuses and a great opportunity for students, or I should say just anybody that's got a passion to get involved, whether it's racing or just in the motorcycle industry. In just a little over a year, Holly, we can get these guys trained and help them to get into the industry.
Wow, quick.
No, it's awesome, Terry, and we can't thank you enough for all you do for Race Day Live, all you're doing for the sport. Same with you, Jeremy. It couldn't happen without you. Actually, we're going to have a couple words from some of your sponsors and your crew, and we'll be right back. But thanks for joining us on Race Day Live.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks.
Amsoil.
So we're not
Let
back.
Nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
And we're back here in University of Phoenix Stadium. Round 5 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. We have another very special guest, 1982 Supercross champion, Donnie Hansen. Welcome to the show, man.
Hi, Andy. Jimmy.
Donnie Holeshot Hansen.
That's right.
99.
99.
Speaking of hole shot, Hansen, have you ever seen a hole shot that long in Supercross before?
They're going to run out of top end. They're going to run out of gears.
Well, you've had a lot of exciting things going on right now. You know, you've always had your motocross schools, but you're working with one of the fastest riders in the world right now, Jake Weimer, who just picked up a factory ride. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, RCH contacted him about riding his bikes, and I apparently he won. He tested after I don't know, couple was it last week or the Monday after last week or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and he really liked that. So he had it opened up an opportunity for him to get on the factory bike, which he really likes.
Well, something I want to ask you, Donnie, is I know you worked with Jake Weimer before he was a professional, when he was an amateur kid coming up. And then, you know, you saw him graduate. He won a championship
right.
On the West Coast here for Mitch Payton,
right.
the Monster Energy Pro Circuit team. And then you saw him go through his career. And you really weren't working with him. And then all of a sudden you guys came back together. How did all that take place?
Well, first of all, yeah, he was 10 years old the first time we got together, and as an amateur. And then I followed him throughout his career. And you know, he's around Josh's age. And so I followed him quite a bit from a distance. And real exciting, the one race there, the last final race, I don't know, a handful of years ago out there at Vegas, where
here you guys are training there. What track is that?
That is Star West, or I think it's called West now.
Okay.
But we were out there 2 days ago and putting the last day working together out there at the track before he flew here. We both came here.
You know, working with the fastest Supercross racers in the world, where specifically do you try to find those extra tenths of a second? In the corners and the whoops, in between the jumps, or is it a combination?
Everything, yeah, combination. It's got to have an eye. You know, I've been doing this for so long, as you guys know, and you know, have an eye at where we can, you know, how I can bring the speed out of a rider, you know, and watching the riders from lap to lap, and you know, talking and you know, and giving my 2 cents, and corner speed, the whoops, you know, how to get through them and with control, and starts, you know, just from what I learned through my years of racing, and working with Josh through the years after my days, you know, it just I feel I have a pretty good eye,
Yeah.
you know, for this, and I can help out these riders.
Absolutely.
from
We
time to
actually,
time.
we have some footage of you winning your 1982 Supercross championship. Photos, and we'll take a look at those here. And there you are. It was a good era, you know, the golden era of Supercross, they called it.
Who's that girl there?
Yeah.
That's not Becky, your wife.
That's Miss Playmate 1 year. Eddie Cole got this Playmate for an ad, the Answer ad, when he owned Answer. This year I won the championship in '82.
Look at how skinny those forks are.
Yeah, those things were upside down.
Right.
Factory Works Honda, though, those had to be the best days of your life, winning that Supercross championship. You know, what were some of the, I know it was a long, long time ago, but what were some of the highlights of that season?
Well, that season, first of all, started off the first race, Anaheim,
Yeah.
race number 1. And, you know, Johnny O'Mara and I, we lived together, pushed each other, trained together, and to be strong for that first race. And as it turned out, I won, and he finished third behind Wardy. And then it went on to Seattle. It was a doubleheader, and I won the first night of the doubleheader. And then I started tensing up after that.
Yeah.
And it worked out real well.
Persevered, won the championship.
Yeah. So that you know, winning the first race was pretty exciting. Winning the championship was real exciting. Winning 2 championships the same year.
Yeah.
Very exciting. So, like I said, you know, it's a matter of having good equipment, good people around you, and you know, you got to have a little luck. You know, I lucked out winning the outdoor championship. You know, Ricky Johnson should have won the thing, but I teased him about it because he was a rookie that year. He was a 16-year-old rookie, and because of that, it cost him the championship. Because if he would have played his cards right, he just had to finish that last race there in Castle Rock, Colorado. You know, finish towards the front to win the championship.
Yeah.
And I was going to go out there and win the event.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a couple DNFs that year. Saddleback, one DNF, and then St. Pete, Florida, another DNF. So I had 2 motos, a potential 50 points. And so I was down coming into the last race, it was 20 points, right around 20 points. So I knew I wasn't going to win the championship, but just going to win the event.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, Glover and I diced out of the last turn, the first moto, to win the first moto.
Yeah.
And so it gave me 25 points. And find out afterwards, RJ, he finished out at 20th place. He got 0 points from breaking his wheel.
The wheel, yeah.
He was trying to catch Brock and I, trying to win the event himself. But
that's awesome.
So all I had to do, if for the second moto, is if RJ was to win, all I have to do is finish third to clinch it. And as it turned out, I hole shotted, and I heard someone behind me. I kind of pulled it aside a little bit. It was Glover. I let him go. Got him behind him, falling around for a little bit. Pretty soon I hear another rider. Let him go. I let him. He comes up next to me. We look at each other. He shakes his head. I just let him go. You know, got behind him.
Hey, Donnie, I got to ask you tonight here in Phoenix, the new stadium that we're at, University of Phoenix here. Who are you picking to win tonight? Who are some of your picks for that podium?
Dungey. Dungey's on fire. He's looking real strong. Also,
Roczen?
Roczen. You know, Roczen's riding real strong. He's real tough. You know, he's a young kid that, as we all know, is real strong, and you know he's gonna be hard to beat.
Absolutely.
I picked one of those 2 riders.
Cool. Those are good picks right
but
there.
But I'm taking Jake for top 7. We're taking one step at a time.
Right. Well, you're working with it, but the other. Well, I want to let you go. We got one last question for you, though, Donnie. Josh Hansen, I know he's in your son. He's been in England riding some arena crosses. Will we see him on the East Coast possibly?
I hope so. That was the plan when he left, and I haven't talked to him about it, but I'm hoping he'll come out, and you know, I'm fairly sure he will, but don't know for sure.
Okay,
cool. Well, hey, Donnie, thank you for coming on the show. You're a legend. Congratulations on your success with Jake Weimer.
Thank you.
Can't thank you enough for coming. We've got a lot of show coming up. We're going to have a report from down in the pits with the Harley Wheelies, Freestyle, BMX. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Amsoil. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
Getting out in front on the racetrack or on the trail requires every performance edge you can get. Amsoil Synthetic Dirt Bike Oil is formulated to maximize horsepower. Its synthetic base oils reduce energy loss to friction, meaning your engine works less to deliver more power to the ground, helping you get out front and stay out front. Amsoil Synthetic Dirt Bike Oil. Out front performance.
What's up, guys? Chase here at Rocky Mountain ATV, and it is time for Fantasy Supercross. If you played Fantasy Supercross last year, the gameplay for this year is going to feel very similar. However, we have made some big changes to scoring that we think you guys are going to love. For 2016, we'll be giving away over $100,000 in prizes. Our grand prize will be the all-new 2016 Toyota Tacoma. We also have a brand new Race Prep KX450F and a KX250F for our first and second place winners. We have got a ton of other prizes that we're going to be giving away as well. We've also got weekly prizes for our top 10 winners, so if you get a late start to the season, it's not a big deal. You will still have plenty of chances to win. To start playing, simply go to www.rmfantasysx.com and create an account. RM Fantasy SX is fun, it is easy to play, and it makes Monster Energy Supercross even more exciting, so make sure you sign up and start today.
Everything you thought you knew about off-road vehicles is about to be redefined. Introducing the world's first and only pure sport side-by-side, the all-new YXZ 1000R from Yamaha. With a high-performance 3-cylinder engine, 5-speed sequential shifting, and long-travel Fox suspension, the world of off-road sports side-by-sides has shifted forever.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
Hi, this is Mike LaRocco with the Geico Honda team, and you're watching Race Day Live.
And we're back in University of Phoenix Stadium. It is round 5 of Monster Energy Supercross. It was fun having Donnie Hansen on. I love old school. You know, he had some old school stories, but Jim Hawley, you got a little old school history yourself here.
Well, a little bit. I mean, you know, the first time I remember when we were coming back to Phoenix, we were at Sun Devil Stadium, which was home to the ASU, and that was back in May 10th. It was at the end of the series in 1986, and you heard him talk about Ricky Johnson. Ricky Johnson had won that night. And I kind of went, you know, I go, man, I kind of remember that. I had a good night, and I kind of remember I made some mistakes and whatever. So I went to Race Direct, the Vault, and I printed out, and you got the top 20 there.
I know. Look at that. You know, we talk about how stacked this year is and stuff, but even in 1986, I mean, look at these, you know, Johnny O'Mara, Ron Lachine, Jeff Leese, Keith Bowen, Larry Brooks, David Bailey, Scott Burnworth, Ricky Ryan. It was stacked back then, too. And Jim Hawley, you gutted yourself out of 7th place finish.
Yeah, not a bad night. I mean, you know, I made some mistakes. I was running up front, I remember, but just, you know, you talk about different venues, you know, and that's an open stadium. May 10th, it's hot, it's humid. The track crew there was trying to put in water and everything. It was just a blue groove track when it came main event time, and we're on 2 strokes, you know, we're just lighting up the tires and everything. But I was happy with the 7th that night. I thought I worked hard for it, but like you said, you know, Johnson ended up winning it, and Lachine was 2nd, O'Mara, Wardy, Leask, Keith Bowen, my teammate, and myself 7th, Brooks, and Bailey. I remember he had a crash. He ended up 9th, and then 10th was Scotty Burnworth on a Suzuki, factory Suzuki. So that's just I've seen it come full circle here in Arizona. I've seen we were in Sun Devil for a few years, then we went over to Chase Field where the Diamondbacks play, and now we're here at this beautiful University of Phoenix here where the Arizona Cardinals play. And I get a chance. I watch Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald, and the boys playing here, and I see the stadium. But you know what? It just doesn't do it just. You got to be here live to see it, and it's an impressive stadium.
Speaking of being here live, you know, the fans are pouring in the stadium right now, but you never know who you're going to see at the races. We had a little bumper earlier with Guy Fieri, but we caught up with him, you know, from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Here's our interview with Guy Fieri.
You're a big Supercross fan. I saw you a couple years ago in Vegas. You were actually doing some of the color commentary for TV.
Great time. I mean, this is about bringing your family out and hanging out, and it's a full night of racing. It's a blast, and yeah, that time in Vegas, off the hook.
I got to ask you, your son Ryder, you talk about bringing family. Who's one of your favorite riders here tonight in Oakland?
James Stewart.
Well, Guy, I know you're a big fan. I know you ride a little bit yourself, and I know your son rides also.
Yeah, well, I have a 250 KTM that I'm a trail rider now. Hunter, our oldest, who's a freshman in college, he's the real rider. He's the one that, you know, he waits for me now, and that's not fun.
Yeah, it's not good when we get older and our kids start passing us up.
What happened with that? I mean, it used to be me, you know, checking him, making sure he's right, I had to jump off, start his bike for him. Now it's like, come on, Dad, you're doing good. That's not what I want to hear.
Are we going to see it anymore this year?
Are you going to see me? As much as possible. I think we'll hit Vegas now that Hunter goes down to UNLV. He's in school there, so I think we'll do that. And probably when you guys come back up here to Northern California, we'll make that race again. Ryder's the one that kind of sets the schedule now. So
Ryder, which one are you going to next?
Here again, I guess.
All right.
It'll be in San Jose.
Santa Clara, where the San Francisco 49ers were. Well, they're about ready to get this kicked off. We want to let you go. Appreciate coming on the show. And Ryder, look forward to seeing you. You said you're 10, so you can get your professional license when you're 16. So another 6 years, you could be out there, bud.
Okay.
Well, he thinks when side by side, when they do the little side by side demo, then he'll come out and run his little Razor. I think that'll probably next time we'll see him. Oh, you light up about that one, huh?
Yeah, you like that Razor, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, we'll let you guys go. Awesome. Enjoy it tonight.
Welcome back to Race Day Live. We have a new guest join us here, a very special guest from MX versus ATV Supercross Encore, Mr. Ken George. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Andy.
So
Ken, good to have you. I'm a little nervous, Andy, to be honest, because this guy, he's probably a professional with this.
Yeah, I'm nervous too. I've been playing a little bit, but what we're going to do, we're going to go head to head and have ourselves a little race here. So ready when you are.
Okay, great.
Yeah, let's get these things fired up here and. Let's see. I'm on the starting gate.
Ready,
Here we
Jim?
go.
All right, whoa, wait a minute. That gate dropped. I didn't get it there. I'm out of there now. Man, I have a hard time.
I'm off the track.
Ken, I like this, the realism in this game here. I just, the good thing is when I crash, I don't get hurt.
Exactly. And the secret to this is being able to lean with the right stick and control your body position as well as your steering with the left.
Can I have a little help? I mean,
yeah, you bet.
You want to take over and catch
sure.
Andy? When you get into Andy, just go underneath him and push him out of the way. Well, look, Andy crashed himself.
How about we restart?
Let's hit restart.
Let's start a new
again,
race
Andy.
here.
Let's
Then we'll be
go
ready for the
restart.
gate drop together.
Let's go.
MX versus ATV Supercross Encore.
Wow, look at that.
Here we go.
I got a bad start. I got to catch up to you.
That's all right. A lot of these guys here, Ken Roczen, a lot of guys have been getting bad starts. I like the game, the realism of it. You got guys out there, and it's like you're racing against Andy, but you're also racing against the track and the other riders.
Yeah, exactly. We have a ton of pros out there. We do have Ken Roczen in the game, James Stewart, a lot of legendary riders in here. So
Andy, he's 5th right now. You're 9th, so you guys got to pick it up. Come on, Ken, pick it up. I want to win. You're in 3rd now, Ken. You're doing good, Ken. You got a signboard out there? I want to see some signboards. So we.
Uh-oh.
Ken, what happened? I thought you were a professional at this, Ken.
Catching up.
All right, I better focus here.
All right,
Oh,
6th.
dang.
Andy, you're still 11th. Come on, man. And now you're in the top 10, Andy. You're 9th, 7th, 6th.
All right, so where are we at? I got one more position to catch up to, right? You got
Yeah.
catch Andy here.
That's Andy right ahead of you. Andy, you're leading him, man. Don't get nervous now. Oh.
All right, let's see if I
There
can
we
do it
go.
in this section here.
Got the big triple into the corner. Starting to feel the flow here.
So
Ken, you're leading it now.
preload this here.
Ken's leading it in lap 2 of 3 laps. Andy, you're running 5th right now. Not a bad way to start out the season for you, Andy.
Well, I'm having a good time, and that's all that matters. I'm down again. But
I'll give you some roofs to help you out. All right, I'll kick over this section here. So.
But talk about some of the, I know you have meetings and everything with a lot of the riders and team guys on making different changes each and every year to the game.
Yeah, so every year here in Phoenix, we have Industry Day at our studio. And last night we had about 60 or 70 folks out, a lot of riders and a lot of other industry folks. And it gives us a chance to get their feedback from our last revision of the game and some new stuff that we're working on now. And we take their feedback and we put in as much as possible. And it helps really polish our experience for everybody and give you something that you can't get anywhere else.
I'm trying to get into the top 3 here, but
you're 4th. You're
now,
4th
for a little bit. It's an awesome game. It's it's the same mechanics as riding a motorcycle. You got to keep the front end down on the jumps. You got to get the back sides. You got to get the inside of the ruts here like that. Try to get enough speed to get over the finish line triple. Didn't quite do it.
And you got to watch out for the tough blocks when I'm out there on the track, Andy, when I hit the tough blocks.
There we go.
There it is. Look, I like the podium there. Look at that. Ken, how do you stack up against Ron Cotter, though?
Oh, he smokes me all the time. There's
He
a couple guys in the studio that are great. I mean, he's a former champion.
Right.
He smokes us, and he builds the tracks, and he puts a ton of time in. But he's got a hand-eye coordination and instinct that like normal people don't have. But
Not me.
Yeah. And
my hand-eye coordination is off. You saw how I went off the track a bunch.
Well, you got to start. You got to build. You got to practice. Get seat time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
That's
I got to
the
get
key.
seat time.
Yeah.
But do they call it seat time or do they call it controller time?
We call it seat time. Because
Okay,
we want to get
all right.
into the the mode and stuff.
Okay, all right.
So
Right.
I also want to mention that we have a lot of great stuff coming out soon. So a lot of our fans have been asking what's next, and we have a small elite team working on a brand new version of technology.
Maybe we should hold off on that announcement, though.
Right.
We're going to break it. We want to break it later, though. I think we want to hold it, make it a little secret.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Right, we had our Industry Day package with Miss Mina Tina Harrow, so let's check that out.
Hey guys, Myra Tinahara with Race Day Live, presented by Amsoil. I'm about to walk into the annual Industry Day at Rainbow Studios, where the guys are hard at work, continuously developing and testing MX versus ATV. Let's go see what they're up to. Yeah, so they're really hard at work. Okay guys, I'm about to walk into the test lab where I'm going to check out some new tracks that aren't out yet, but that you guys will be able to download soon. Let's go. Former Supercross Lights champion Stefan Roncutta is going to give me a crash course before I take on the #1 virtual racer of MX versus ATV.
Nice. Well, I think you're definitely ready to take on Hugo, MXFP Coras 800. He's from France. He's the fastest virtual racer in MX versus ATV Supercross Encore.
Okay, MXFP Coras 800, how did you get so good at this game?
Il m'a fallu du temps et de l'entraînement.
So any tips and tricks?
Sur le frein, juste après avoir fait l'impulsion.
Okay, so that helped a lot. I'll see you on the track. I had a great time at Industry Day for MX versus ATV, and I even got set up with some souvenirs. Jim and Andy, don't worry, I have some stuff for you too.
Well, it certainly looked like they were having a good time. They're eating pizza, playing video games. It doesn't get much, better than that.
Yeah. Where's our T-shirts? Myra, we see her. She got us T-shirt, but I haven't seen my T-shirt today.
Oh, I think they're going to come through. We'll end up with our video games and our T-shirts. But we have the hot lap coming up, Ken. So are you ready to go and show us how it's done?
Yeah, you bet.
Let's get it on.
So this is one of our tracks that we'll be having in our new track pack. So after you buy the game, you can add on to it with some other tracks. So this is part of our Squaw Valley package, which has 2 Supercross and 2 outdoor tracks, and it's a really neat environment that people can't normally ride in. So we put it in the game and have a lot of the realistic feel of and rhythms of a track, but in a really interesting environment. So here's a really nice long whoop section.
Was that you that just got across there with the front end up the whole way?
No, I think this might have been Steph here. So.
Okay.
So there's a nice triple, and if you blow that, you go off the ledge there, so you want to make sure you get that berm there. And this nice rhythm section here, there's a whole bunch of different ways to take it. I think it's a triple, like quad or
I heard a 2-stroke out there.
Yes, we have 2 strokes in there. They're very popular. After we released the game, we put 252 strokes as well as a 500.
I really enjoy how wide it is and the graphics that you have here and things like that. I mean, look, you're even energy conscious. You got the windmills out there generating electricity.
You bet. So this is one of my favorite tracks that we've ever done because it's such a really picturesque environment and something really different. And all of our tracks have different rhythms that you can take depending if you like blitzing the whoops or doubling, tripling through them and stuff.
All right, now Ken, what's the big announcement? You were kind of
sure.
Actually, a little bit earlier, but we had a few things. So what's the big announcement?
So we have an elite group of us that are working on the next generation of off-road racing, which will redefine everything, kind of like we've done in the past with Motocross Madness, ATV Off-Road Fieri, and MX versus ATV. So that's a little ways out. But in the meantime, we have Xbox One coming out May 10th. We're really excited about that. And as soon as we announced Encore, all of our social media has been blown up. When is it coming? When is it coming? So May 10th will be available. And in the meantime, we also have more DLC coming out. We have more OEM tracks and more OEM bikes and lots of great content.
You talk about that May 10th. Where can I buy that at? Where's it available at?
Let's see. It'll be available at Walmart, Best Buy, and GameStop, as well as online at Amazon and the the Xbox store.
That is awesome, and you heard it here first on Race Day Live. Ken, George, thank you so much for coming on and
Thanks.
Showing me the fast way around the track on the video game.
Well, wait a minute, Andy. I got to ask him a question.
Do
you have schools for this? Like, because you saw my skills. I was horrible. I mean, I did my phone blew up. All my friends texted me. I sucked at the. Is there a school I can go to kind of learn?
Yeah, we can actually send a tutor out to you.
Really?
Every event, and tuition's not too bad, so it's good.
Well, thank you, Ken. We have a lot more show to go. We have a lot more action from the pits. Miss Myra Tina is going to check back in. For right now, we have a couple words from our sponsors. Stay tuned. Amsoil.
Thanks,
Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Terex 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
Supercross Championship in 2015.
University.
I just woke up one day and it clicked, and I'm like, I'm not just gonna be someone that rode a dirt bike and that tried. I'm gonna become the best. To be the best, it takes sacrifice, it takes a dream and a drive.
Striving to be the best, it's super critical to have a strong team behind you and a strong motorcycle. Being the best is everything, you know, that's what you want. It's where you want to be.
It all just comes down to how much passion you have for the sport.
Bike is everything to be the best.
Never give up, chase your dream, and if you work hard now and you sacrifice and you do what you're supposed to do, you can live the rest of your life as a champion.
The Yamaha champion YZ450F and multi-champion YZ250F.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
This season on Chasing the Dream.
On a real level, like, we don't show up to Alden's and pay a lot of money to not be willing to take the sacrifices.
You know, there's no asking why. You know why you're doing it, and it's to get the top results.
The guy that's going to win Saturday night is going to be the guy that is able to block out all of the excitement, the distractions.
Just be confident in everything and you're fine.
That's going to be difficult.
Get forward, get that start.
Here we go! It's the biggest, most prestigious, most hard-fought championship, and it's about to kick off live for 2016 right now.
I have definitely seen a spark in Chad Reed. He is not giving up.
Hi, I'm Jake Weimer with RCH Soaring Eagle Jimmy John Suzuki, and you're watching Race Day Live.
And we're back in University of Phoenix Stadium here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's round 5 of Monster Energy Supercross. Want to welcome everybody to the stadium. We hope you're having a good time today on Race Day Live. We also want to remind you that Chasing the Dream premieres Sunday, February 14th at 12:30 Eastern Time on FS1. It's going to be great. Can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, it's in depth. I mean, you get behind the guys, and you see them with Alden Baker. You saw the teaser that we got a chance to see, and just on what kind of work ethic they go through and what they put into the sport, and what they do on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday before they come here.
Right. One of the personalities on that show is going to be Jason Anderson. Got to remember, we go back to the season opener in Anaheim. The Lobo comes out number 21, gets the first win for Husqvarna, wins that thing. It was huge. It was absolutely huge. And since then, he's hung around in the top 5. He's tied for second in points. What do you think about Jason Anderson coming into tonight's show?
Well, I think if you're playing the RM Fantasy SX, Fantasy League, I think that you got to put him up on the podium tonight. I think that he's chomping at the bit. He was close. I mean, that pass that he made on Chad Reed last week was phenomenal to get that 4th place. But he's been struggling with starts, and it's just one of those things that we talk about it each and every week, and how important the start is. And we're going to see who's got the horsepower tonight here in Phoenix, because that starting line is huge and long.
Right. Well, you actually spoke with Jason Anderson, and let's go hear what he had to say.
University of Phoenix Stadium here. This is a big stadium.
Yeah, the stadium looks good. I feel like it's a good track. Just finished walking it, and it's cool to have kind of a new venue and kind of a new look to Phoenix instead of what we've been doing for the past quite a few years. So I think it's a good event, and it's going to be fun tonight.
It's good to be Jason Anderson. I mean, right now you got a win under your belt. The opener in Anaheim. Here we are, round 5. Sitting second in the points, tied with Chad Reed, and that brings me to my next question. Chad Reed, what a pass you put on him last week. I thought for sure you were going down, but you held on to it.
Yeah, that pass definitely wasn't what I had in mind, So when he went to go, we were going double, triple, double, and he went double, and then I thought he was going triple, and he went double at the last second, and I just turned right, and it looked sketchy, way sketchy. Not what I wanted to go down, but I made the pass and just rode into 4th, but I feel like I really need to start so I could be up there riding with Dunge and kind of have a good battle. Even if I don't win, I just want to battle that dude and see where I stand.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, your starts. I mean, I watched you in October at the Monster Energy Cup walk away with 3 whole shots in the main event, a new Toyota Tundra truck, and I'm going, man, he's struggling with the starts this year.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Even in the heat races, though.
Yeah, I don't know what's been going on, but we did a lot of work this week. We made some changes to help our starts, and so we're going to see. Hopefully that relays over into tonight, and we can get some good starts and see where that puts us. And I really just want to be up front and battle with him. I don't care if I get first or second or third. I just want to be up there and not let him have them so easy.
But we talk about riders. When I interview them, they say we made some changes. Just give me one change you made.
It's a lot of we just did some stuff inside the bike, not suspension wise or anything. So to help with our starts, there's so many different settings that we have as far as engines, mapping. It's a bunch of stuff. So we just worked on a bunch of starts, got some of that stuff set up, and we think it's better. So that's what we're going to try and run this weekend and see if it relays over.
Let me ask you this. This is a hometown race for you. I know you're from Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is just down the road about 5 hours or so. You feel any pressure of a lot of fans coming over here to watch you?
Obviously I want to do good in front of a lot of hometown people that are coming to watch. But for the most part, I just want to do good for myself, and hopefully I always put pressure on myself. So I feel the same from weekend to weekend, but definitely to do it in front of some hometown people and some of my closest race, it would be it's cool. When I won here in 2014, and that was you grow up and this is the only Supercross I'd come to every year, and you check it out and to win it, and then hopefully I can win it in the big bike class tonight. That'd be cool.
Go out and win another one.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, man. Thank you.
And you just heard it from Jason Anderson right there. He's been coming since he was a kid to the Phoenix Supercross. Won here in 2014. Won the season opener. He's hung around the top 5. Second in points, man. He can make a big statement with the win tonight, Jim Hawley.
Yeah, I think, but it's all going to start with that start. Like we talked about, I kind of interrupted when there went up. Even in the heat races, when you only got half of the guys out there, because you got 2 heat races. The main event, you got 22 guys out there, but you got half the good guys in one qualifier and you're in the other one, and he still can't get out of the gate. So I'm not sure, and I try to always, when a guy says, "Oh, we changed a lot of things," I always, well, just give me one thing you changed. They're not giving you everything, but he's been working on his starts, and hopefully tonight, you know, maybe he can get a whole shot. Maybe we can pay him $1,500 from supercrosslive.com and I'd really like to see him up there with Dungey, and he wants to see where he's out there, because even though they train in Florida together at Olin Bakers and they ride, it's not like under race conditions. And, and like we saw Dungey last weekend in Oakland when, you know, Roczen was coming, he was able to turn it up a little bit. And that's where at the test track, he's not showing those guys, you know, he can turn it up. But he something different he's doing in practice. He's laying down a lot of consistent fast lap times. He's just not going out there and doing one fast lap and then just kind of putting around. He's putting together 5 laps that are really on pace.
Absolutely. Another guy that's putting in some good laps recently, he's actually had 4 consecutive top 10s. He's led a lap, which he did in San Diego. BTO Sports' Justin Brayton. A couple years ago in Phoenix, he finished 2nd place, the best finish of his career. We were able to talk to him on track walk. Here's what Justin Brayton had to say. He's had 4 straight top 10s, but you kind of like racing in Phoenix, man. How you feeling coming into this race?
Yeah, I've always loved it here for some reason. I just think the dirt, and for some reason, I don't know if they can build a tougher track with this dirt, but they always seem to have big whoops and big rhythm sections and some tricky stuff. And now just being on the track now, it looks like it's no different this year. So I get excited for that. I like a tough, challenging track, especially some big whoops. So yeah, looking forward to getting into the top 5 tonight. 4 top 10s is good, but we want more.
Well, we're in the desert. This track's going to dry out throughout the day. And, you know, when you got your 2nd place, they said the track conditions were very similar. When these whoops get all packed in and they get all slick on top, how does your technique change? It's one of your strong points.
Yeah, I think it's just being smooth with the throttle and trying to get as much traction as you can. Obviously, when they get slick, you can't just come in and mat the throttle. You have to be really precise. And I've always been good at that for some reason. So, and really throughout the whole track, you have to be that way. So, yeah, it really lends to my riding style, and the start being super long, I think that's cool too. Kind of spread some people out before you get to the first turn, and yeah, my starts have been good, so I don't see why I can't get up there and mix it up with the guys tonight.
This start is big. I mean, it's the biggest one we've seen. It's the biggest one I've seen in a long time, many years. What are you going to do differently with the mapping in your engine or any other setup things for this to compensate for this long start? Different gearing? What's going to be different?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to change anything. I've always believed that 20 feet out of the gate, you either have the whole shot or you don't. And that's the game plan, is just try to control the start right out of the gate. And really, gate pick's not going to matter tonight. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, we're always so worried about getting a good practice time for a good gate pick in the heat, and then winning the heat to get a good gate pick in the main. And obviously that's important, but I think tonight it's not going to be as important, just because I feel like from really any gate, all 22 of them, you can get the whole shot.
Get a good start.
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool.
Well, good luck tonight, Justin.
Cool, thank you.
Then we heard from Justin Brayton and Jason Anderson, a couple guys who could really make some noise tonight, shake things up. Anderson's already proved he can win this year. Brayton, who knows? He can do it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like you said, when you come to a venue like this and you've had podiums before, seconds, one of the best rides of his career, you know, that all plays a big factor when you come back here. But right now, out on the track, we're going to be seeing the final qualifying session of the 250 Group
there's
C.
a rider down.
One of the guys
he's
caught,
okay.
Caught the tough block. He's okay.
There's a good view of the outside section of the track.
Yeah, see, now he didn't get up and over it all the way. You have to land on the downside of it, grab a handful and drive into the corner. But like you said, this one just started. They got about 7:40 to go in this final qualifying session here.
250C qualifying number 2. Track's in perfect condition. They got it all worked on. Lap times will start dropping. You know, like we've been talking about all season, these are the fast 40. These guys have to get into the night show. Otherwise, their night's over.
And they got a great track now, because with that intermission, the Feld track crew got out there and reworked it and everything. It looks good. He's come in and talked to, who's that there? That's
903.
903 there. He's going to talk to one of his mechanics.
That's Cody Dorfler. Out of Peyton, Colorado, Cody Dorfler. But our buddy, number 621, RJ Wageman. These guys are all our buddies, though. We can't say that. But it is his first Supercross. He's out there, had his first couple qualifying sessions. Again, Casey Brennan was way faster than everybody else in the first 250C qualifying run. But he's back on top again, early in the early going, with a little over 6 minutes to go.
There's that outside. Let's see if this rider downsides it. That's the way you want to do it. You want to downside it. Don't leave that door open for somebody to get underneath you.
You
catch that rider's number, Andy? I can't see.
It looks like 574, but then again,
now we're gone.
Yeah. Once again, the corners are in perfect condition. A little bit wet, a little bit slick the first practice sessions, Jim Hawley, and now it's in excellent condition.
Yeah, I think that, with the opportunity to get some bikes out on the track, get some water worked into it and things like that, like you said, when we were on track walk, it was greasy out there, and I'm thinking, oh, man, I wouldn't want to be the first practice out there.
No, but it pays off. And, you get bikes on the track, the dirt gets worked in, it eventually gets better, and then you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor in the main events when the track's in perfect condition for your heat race.
Well, that's the man that's leading it right now.
Casey Brennan.
Brennan with a 1 minute 11.6 seconds there for Casey Brennan. And I'm not sure where he's going. He's just kind of putting around now and put in a great lap. That first lap now, he'll probably just cruising around, catch his breath a little bit, get the heart rate back down, and then pick it back up again. There's those yellow flags that I hate to see out there flying. That just takes away a fast lap if one of these guys had a fast lap going on, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the riders down in the whoops.
Oh, it's cutting around the whoops, Jim Hawley. Take it easy.
Well, that's okay, because I think there's a lot of yellow flags out there, and hopefully the rider's okay. We're going to see here he's fine. He's back up, and that's
352.
352.
Alex Harville, he's back up and going, having a pretty good run so far.
Yeah, Alex had a good qualifying session that first go-around out there. I think he was in the top 3. There's RJ right there. We got a quick glimpse of him. Now we're back on the Honda rider here.
Throwing a nice whip.
Not sure the number.
Pretty sure that was 424 Tyler Custer.
Yeah, there's Alex right there. 352. Alex Harville. Where's he out of, Alex? From
Alex Harville, number 352, is
from
out
around here?
Let's find out. In Frado, Washington, up in the
he's probably
Pacific
happy to be
Northwest.
down here.
Yeah.
There's RJ Wageman right there. He's probably happy to be here in Phoenix, Arizona, the sunshine. I
Absolutely.
hear watching the Weather Channel this morning, it's going to be raining up there in the Pacific Northwest.
That El Nino is just beating up the West Coast. There we go.
Got about 3 minutes and 40 seconds here left in this one.
Once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Race Day Live today. All of our international guests across the world. We were getting, half of our viewers are international guests, so we can't thank enough from everybody from Germany, from Brazil, from Canada. Thank you for joining us today. We're so proud to show you qualifying and practice live on supercrosslive.com.
Some of those Swedish fans, I know Patrick, they're coming over here. They want to see it in person. They'll be here next weekend in San Diego for Military Appreciation
Night. Yeah. But, the championship's clicking off. We're at round 5 already, and in this 250 class, it's tight. Cooper Webb had bad luck, and that championship is, the top 3 separated by 5 points. It's going to be a show with those guys tonight.
Well, the other thing on the other side of things in that 450, if Dungey wins tonight and Anderson gets second, he's going to get 3 more points. He's got 22 on him right now. He's going to have a full race lead after 5 rounds, which
unbelievable.
Pretty much is unheard of.
The best start of his career. It was, I kind of called it Dungey's dream. Yeah, Cole Custer, or Tyler Custer, excuse me.
Sitting second right now,
yeah,
Tyler, at 1 minute 12 seconds. Not bad for him. RJ Wageman in that 3rd position now with 1 minute 13.3. Hopefully he can pick it up. Still the C guys, they just, you see the difference with the C and the B and the A as far as when that whoop section. If you took out those whoops, those guys are just as fast as the other guys in the B
and most of the sections, yes.
Yeah, just those whoops really are, it's a real big commitment that these guys aren't, ready to do. And the other thing too is a lot of people say, well, it's not only commitment, but I'm sure their suspension's not quite as good as that factory stuff, the A stuff, so they can send it.
Yeah, committing to that dragon back section there, it's tough. It's tough. Their dads or their mechanics just tell them, hey, you got to go into the whoops faster. You're going to have to jump that dragon back section, but it's time's running out.
Easier said than done, Dad. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
I remember one time when my dad, when I was a little guy out riding, he says, oh, you got to do it this way. I just walked off, and I said, okay, show me. He goes, I can't show you. I think, well, don't tell me how to go through them.
Yeah. Those were the best times, though. Speaking of best times, it is Casey Brennan with a 1:11.4, followed by Tyler Custer with a 1:12.5.
There's RJ
Wageman is in third spot, number 621 with a 1:13.3. Seems to be pretty content with that. That's going to place him into the night show.
Yeah, actually, that was his fastest lap. That last lap, RJ, to 1:13. Yeah, so that's a good lap time. But keep the power down. You see how that when you go into that first turn, you see when they're on the brake and that thing's dancing around a little bit. But they'll smooth that first turn out.
Boy, the first turns are going to be exciting tonight, Jim Hawley.
There's RJ, got on the backside. Let's see how he does. He's coming around the corner here. Let's see how he does in the whoops, because this is where I talked to his dad, Russ, when I saw him. He just did the whoops. I mean, you got to get up on top of those things and just send it. And then he gets back after it out on that. But, yeah, if he can get through that whoops, I mean, that's going to at least pick up 3 seconds right off the bat.
Agreed. And like you say, that's kind of the great equalizer between the B and A group and C groups. The whoops are tough. That's
I'm curious to see when his little brother, Robbie.
Yeah.
Robbie Wageman, I'm going to see when he makes his debut in Supercross. He's right behind his older brother.
With time running out, I do believe the checkered flag is out.
Kyle Fry right there.
Qualifying number 2.
Kyle sitting in 5th right now.
Nice little whip.
You think about it, Andy, you know, you look at it right now, it's just almost 3:30 right now. So these guys won't line up on the line until 7 o'clock tonight. That's a long span. You know, they'll get something to eat, maybe take a nap or whatever, maybe review some films, but it's a long time before that gate drops at 7 o'clock.
Checker flag is out. Casey Brennan is the fastest, 1:11.4, followed by Tyler Custer, RJ Wageman, Zach Gurley, Kyle Fry. That's your top 5. We'll go through the top 10. Dimitri Rolando, Alex Harville, Brian Burns, Damon Back, and Lorenzo Campriasi. Rounding out the top 10.
Remember Lorenzo, we saw him go off
his
wrist, but
maybe he got it taped up and he's feeling a little better.
Strong guy.
Coming up, we have 250B qualifying number 2, but for right now, we're going to have a few words from our sponsors. Stay tuned. Amsoil. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Go to the bathroom, but a minute.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Terex 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
This season on Chasing the Dream.
On a real level, like, we don't show up to Alden's and pay a lot of money to not be willing to take the sacrifices.
You know, there's no asking why. You know why you're doing it, and it's to get the top results.
The guy that's going to win Saturday night is going to be the guy that is able to block out all of the excitement, the distractions.
Just be confident in everything and you're fine.
It's going to be difficult.
Get forward, get the start. Here we go! It's the biggest, most prestigious, most hard-fought championship, and it's about to kick off live for 2016 right now. I have definitely seen a spark in Chad Reed. He is not giving up.
Welcome back, University of Phoenix Stadium, round 5. And we're getting down to it. We got the 250B coming up. Then we're going to have the A guys can't wait. It's going to be a good show, FS2 tonight. But so far, it's been a pretty clean day of qualifying. I'm going to knock on the desk there, and hopefully that keeps up. But Roczen's been fast. Dungey's been fast. Anderson's been fast.
The thing about it with Dungey, though, on his speed, it's like a second faster, you know. It's just not like a tenth. It's
I
a
know,
whole second.
I know. You know, and we have to give respect where it's due. You know, everybody's working hard. They're all gunning for number one. And
seeing some of the B guys out here getting ready. They're lined up on the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate.
Yeah. You know, back to Dungey, you know, we have to talk about him. It's been one of the strongest starts in Supercross history. We haven't seen a start like this since the Jeremy McGrath days.
No, I mean, it's a long starting line. I mean, you know, we had Donnie Hansen on earlier, and, you know, you talked about the Coliseum. I mean, the Coliseum used to have a long starting line. And I think it's cool to bring it back. I mean, the fans, you know, are going to get an opportunity to see what real horsepower is, you know, when they get out of the gate. I mean, if you got a fast bike and you make a mistake coming out of the gate and you're a half a bike length, you know, behind, you can make it up on a starting line like this, and you could be a half a bike length ahead.
You break late.
Yeah. But, you know, you also heard Colt Nichols, he was on our show. He wishes that they would line up a little bit more back because they're a good, what do you think, that's 50 feet back in front of that starting gate. So, I mean, that's a little bit, you know, that's another gear right there. I mean, you can shift right there. And so we'll see what happens.
It's going to be spectacular hole shots is what's going to happen. McGee qualifying number 2.
This is always with the mechanics and dads and everything, and they're just kind of waiting. I'm not sure what they're talking about. I see a little powwow down there with some of the AMA officials, Robert Kelly down there, and Kevin Kratz and Gallagher. I'm not sure what they're talking about, but you know, they're always about safety here at Feld Motorsports with Supercross. You know, and if there's something wrong, they want to, you know, address it. You know, before they start that practice out there. I see Guyby out there, the photographer out there. He's talking to Gallagher too, and
absolutely want to remind everybody, Chasing the Dream premieres Sunday, February 14th, 12:30 p.m. Eastern time on FSVR, and make sure and watch that. Those shows are going to be really, really cool.
Tune in tonight, Fox Sports 2.
Yeah, FS2.
And then also in your Fox Regional in your area will have it live.
Going to be round 5. Lots of questions. Can Dungey keep it up? Is Reed going to be able to stay second in the points or come out and win one? But they got him fired up here for 250B qualifying number 2. We're going to get rolling here. Get bikes on track.
And you can see some of the riders there, you know, got the whole shot device engaged. The front end's down. They're up and over it.
And they're off. Mitchell Harrison jumping out there.
Yeah, Mitchell Harrison had the fast time in that B practice there.
Yeah.
You know, he knows, you know, how important it is. He's going to get out there and he's going to run wild. He's going to run fast right now as he's just blitzing the whoops right there and just going to try to lay down some good, establish a good lap time.
Mitchell Harrison came out swinging and got into the main event at the season opener and then had a little bad luck, but all in all, you know, I think he missed but made the first 2 main events of the year. Mitchell Harrison did, and I'd be surprised to see him miss it tonight because he looks really strong. Tripling in. Just another one of those young up-and-coming talents like we've been talking about. Mitchell Harrison, Austin Fortner, Chase Sexton. Names that are going to be at the top of the headlines in our sport in the pretty close future.
Yeah, Chase Sexton making his debut in Colorado Springs, Colorado there. And
Amsoil Arena Cross.
Finished up, second, I believe, last night?
I think he won a heat race. Didn't quite see the full results. I did see that Babbitt swept again. Strong team with Babbitt's. Blows, Faith, and Hayes.
You know, I'm surprised over there in the Amsoil Arena Cross Series, you know, the champion there.
I think he's a little beat up. The word on the street is has maybe a rib injury, not quite 100%.
He hasn't won one yet, but he's right there in the points.
Yeah.
He's like 4th or 5th. He's kind of right there.
And don't forget what's unique about that.
Up.
That's right. There's Comans back on Mitchell Harrison. Mitchell Harrison still trying to
Comans had a good qualifying time. I think he was up in that top 5. Harrison, let's see when he comes around here. Let's see what that lap time is. He triple, doubles. that section there. Nice 65-foot triple. This is the part right here where he didn't nail it. And he
He's all right.
Didn't nail it again.
Didn't nail that section. That's tough, jumping on top of the tabletop. Noah McConaughey jumps up to the top with a 109.4. That's an excellent lap. Zachary Comans, 107.9. A whole second faster. In the early going, we still got a little over 7 minutes to go in 250B qualifying number 2. Blake Lilly, number 138. Looking good in the whoops, staying on top of him. Little bit more entry speed there, but like we said, easier said than done.
Well, and you notice everybody working to that left-hand side. It's just natural when you come out of that corner, you drift up and you go down the whoops on the left-hand side. But a few of the guys I see working down to the inside.
Stadium, Jim Hall, if you take a look over your shoulder, look how many people are in here already. It's going to be a big crowd, going to be a good spectacle. Round 5 is going to be, I just kind of have a good feeling. The stadium is cool, the track's awesome. There's a lot of storylines, you know, especially in this 250 class. Can Cooper Webb bounce back? Yes, he can, but will he? You know, the wolves smell blood in the, the sharks smell blood in the water, and Savachi wants that championship. I promise you, Mitch Payton wants that championship. But so does Geico Honda. Christian Craig wants to win. Zach Osborne's been knocking on the door. It's going to be a very, very exciting 250 West region.
Noah McConaughey right there, 96, rounding. Been putting in some good rides. Tripled right into that corner. That was nice. Carry that momentum around. It's all those switchback 180s. You got to carry that momentum when you're into there. And Noah's doing just that. A little bit more faster entry speed into the whoops, and it'll help him get across there a little bit more.
Still not bad at all. And as action continues here in 250B qualifying number 2, we just got an update from Myra Tinajero, who's been down in the pits with all the action with the Monster BMX stuff. Let's go ahead and check in with her real quick.
Myra Tinajero with Race Day Live, presented by Amsoil. We are at round 5 of Monster Energy Supercross at the University of Phoenix Stadium, and I've been cruising around the Monster Energy pit party. I found the FMX demo, I found the Unknown Industries Harley demo, but right now we're checking out the Monster Energy BMX Jam. Now we've got a dirt track set up in the parking lot for these guys to compete. They're going to be doing the Toyota Best Trick like they did at the Monster Energy Supercross. Fans are going to be able to see them go wild, do some crazy stuff out here. Make sure you get down here. There's still plenty of time. Well, I'm here with Corey Nastasio, who convinced me to walk up this ramp. So now we have a pretty good view of the pit party. Now, Corey, what's going down here at the BMX Dirt Jam?
Well, you got like 12 of the gnarliest dudes in the world. The monster roll in to some big old dirt jumps right in front of the party. So I guess we're gonna put on a show for everybody. I couldn't imagine a better crowd to go crazy in front of. So it should be good. This is the second one I've attended, and the first one was amazing, and this one looks just as cool.
Do you have a plan for how you're gonna go out there and maybe win this one?
Sure. Well, I was watching the kids practice yesterday, and they were all kind of just sending all their big moves. And as an OG, an older guy, I kind of was just getting the speed right here and there, and just figuring out, the speed really on everything and how the jumps feel. And then today I got to kind of, everybody kind of thinks maybe I'm not coming into the contest with anything, but that's the kind of my strategy, is kind of just keep everything on the low, and then once this thing starts, show the kids who daddy is.
Okay, Pat, so we saw you win Toyota's Best Trick at the Monster Energy Cup. What trick did you pull off for the fans?
For the Toyota Best Trick, I did a double decade, this last one, and I landed, so I was stoked.
So do you have a set in mind when you go down the ramp and go, through the course, or do you kind of roll with it as it comes to you?
I try usually to have, this is 2 jumps, so I try to at least have, 2 tricks in my head before I go down, and then, just hopefully I do that, and if not, I kind of just, depending on how the first one goes, see how the second one goes as well.
Cool, well, good luck out there.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I caught up with Jamie Bestwick at the Monster Energy BMX Jam. Now, Jamie, we saw you guys at the Monster Energy Cup last year. We're here now in Glendale. Are we going to be able to see you guys again?
A little different than last time. We got a 20-minute jam session, and then we go to finals. So we have 12 of the best BMX dirt jumpers in the world, X Games gold medalists, Dew Cup winners. It's about to go off, Monster Energy style.
So what is the top guy at the end of the day, what do they get? What's their reward? What's the payoff here?
There's cash prizes, there is a trophy, and bragging rights.
I think the bragging rights are going to be the best for them, I think. All right, guys, well, that's from Jamie. I'll see you guys back up there.
It's just mind-blowing, Jim.
Would you do that?
No. And I rode
either.
BMX for years and years, and to see the level of progression that those guys, a double decade, double backflip, no-hander. We were standing down there yesterday, and just our jaws were on the concrete.
My jaw was in the concrete just watching them hike their bicycles up the stairs to get up there. And you said, these guys are in shape. I go, you would have to be because, but when they drop in, and really when you really drop in, you see some of the guys scrub off a little speed, but to do those double backflips,
huge.
There's no scrubbing off speed at that point. But
back on track.
Look who's not scrubbing off any speed. A 105.7 now for Mitchell Harrison. And Austin Politelli there with a 106.9, and then Zachary Coleman's with a 107.6 as we saw one of the riders down, but that's 321.
Bradley Lyonnais, he's back up and going, all good. Good to see that. But Mitchell Harrison, a 105.7. Pretty strong lap time right there, Jim Hawley.
Yeah, they only got about a minute to go, minute 10 seconds here. Is get a chance to watch. Is that Mitchell there?
Yeah,
no.
yeah, 289.
Yeah, that's Mitchell there, right there. See him downshift going into that first turn there.
Yeah, decent momentum.
Just kind of has that left leg out there, really not touching the ground, just in case that front end starts to wash, he can dab that leg down and catch the motorcycle.
Going to keep an eye on him. McConaughey takes the exit off the whoops.
Well, at least they got a big run out.
Yeah.
I remember one year the whoops were pretty tough for the GOAT, Ricky Carmichael, in Dallas one year. And they had a boat, man. He got off, and his motorcycle and him hit the boat that was on display there. But he didn't let the throttle off.
Never let off.
He kept that thing on.
Yeah, that was... those were the days when Ricky and James Stewart were going head-to-head. I was telling Jason Wygant, I was like, we got a big problem here because neither one of those guys let off the throttle.
No, they're stubborn.
Both of them.
No. And you mentioned James Stewart. Want to wish him a speedy recovery.
Yes, we do.
Hopefully we'll see him back in Dallas.
Mitchell Harrison. Checker flag is out.
105.7, that's a good time.
We'll keep track of that and see how he does, how that would stack up in the A group.
Well, I'm just comparing Cooper Webb, his teammate there, a 103.4.
Yeah.
That first one, so it's not a bad time for him. It's definitely going to get him in the Fast 40 group, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
I got a text again for as we're getting a chance to look at the final 250 Group B qualifying there. Like you said, Harrison, Politelli,
Zach
Coleman's there. Oh,
Killian Auberson jumps into third. Coleman's to fourth. Noah McConaughey fifth. Chase Marquier sixth. And that'll do it. 250B qualifying number 2, which means only one thing, Jim Hawley.
The big A.
The A groups are coming up next. I'm fired up. I cannot
up.
wait to see the final qualifying session for the A group. It's going to be exciting. Ken Roczen's been fast. Dungey's been fast.
Yep.
Cooper Webb's been fast. So let's see who's going to be the fastest and get the number 1 gate pick for this long starting line you see over Jim and I's shoulder right now.
Yeah, it is huge. It's long as you're getting a chance to look at it right now. And it's just, I mean, it's deceiving. Your depth perception definitely has to be on because you're going to run it in deep down there and make that left-hand corner. But they got a pretty good run out there. But interesting to see as they get a chance. They're on the MX versus ATV Supercross
on course starting gate.
Yeah.
Right.
I wish it was pushed back a little bit more, but
that was a good George joining us there and making his big announcement for his game
skills.
He was way faster than me. Yeah, so I was a little embarrassed.
But he said Stefan Roncada is just phenomenal in this game.
Well, they should be.
Lucky Stefan wasn't there. Yeah, they work with it every day. Myra was good though.
Myra was good.
Her piece. Yeah, Myra had a good a good little ride going, and she can even do it eating pizza. I didn't understand that.
Right. And once again, we have the 250A guys lining up on the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. And speaking of Myra Tinajero, she's back.
Hey guys, what's up?
Did you bring our T-shirts?
Oh, this time I did not pick up T-shirts for you. Sorry, no wiener
we
schnitzel.
We saw you were
either.
having wiener schnitzel and pizza.
I got distracted
and
by all the BMX and then the Harley guys out there. You know, and there was a lot of stuff going on.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Now I know you ride, and I asked Andy, would you jump on a bicycle and take it down that ramp?
No.
No?
I'll be honest,
There's
I would
nothing
not.
wrong with that. Yeah.
I'm scared of mountain biking too.
Oh.
Yeah, but Myra, tell us about the vibe down there with the monster BMX and Harley wheelies and the freestyle. There's a lot of people watching? Was they going off?
There's a ton of people watching.
Yeah.
It's a really good time. I mean, that's why they call it the Monster Energy Pit Party. It's a party. So, you know, the vibe's up. They've got the music going. The guys were totally shredding the dirt track that they had out there. So it was a really good time down there.
Excellent. Excellent. Everybody's safe. What was the biggest trick you saw? What was the biggest banger you saw?
Okay, so I'm not huge. I haven't really followed BMX too much, so I don't really know what the tricks are called. And then they all look so different, and then they have such complicated names. So I have to really apologize to all the guys out there. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what your trick is called, but it was really awesome.
Backflip, bar spin, tail whip, no hander.
Get a chance now to look at some of the guys.
Here we have the A group, Myra, lining up.
Joey Savacci. His qualifying time wasn't what I thought it would have been.
Well, he was the fastest the first time around in the untimed qualifying session. And, the last time out didn't quite have it. But we had Colt Nichols up here joining us, and really good interview, really good kid, cool story. Kid seems pumped up, and he's been fast today. He was actually the second fastest qualifier in the round one. So let's see what he has to do here. As you get to look at the back of his jersey there with Jimmy D.
I think Jimmy D might surprise a few people.
He's been fast today.
Yeah.
He's a good starter, too. Likes these long starts. We're going to find out. Getting ready
the
to
pit
cut
area, Myra, out there, huge, too.
I'm sorry?
The pit area, huge
out
there.
It's
a lot of room to move around out there.
You know, I gotta apologize a little bit to Colt Nichols, I think, because, you know, when I saw him doing very well some more, a little bit of an apology to that guy because clearly
Chris Aldridge jumps out there. Another guy, look,
he lost the front end. Bike drifted up a little bit high and just stepped over the berm right there.
So he had that little moment with Cooper Webb earlier today.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just getting ready to say, you know, he's kept it on two wheels this year. And
you jinxed it, Andy.
I jinxed him. He's all right. He'll pick it back up. Needs a good finish. Hadn't had a very good start. Hadn't had a good start to his season. He has speed. He's obviously on a competitive machine. So we'll see if Chris Aldridge, another guy, Alex Martin, had a tough season so far. Kind of got a raise, if you will, to the Yamalube Star Racing Yamaha organization.
Well, and you mentioned Chris Aldridge. I mean, sitting 17th in the points right now. He's only got 22 points. I know Mitch isn't happy with that.
No. There's Alex Martin. He's a guy that could surprise some people tonight, I think. He was on his way to the podium last weekend, guys, and clipped that tough block and went down.
He's got to avoid those tonight.
Right.
You know, he thought maybe a rider in that main event might have clipped it and brought it out to the track because he says, man, I go, what do you happen? Did you deviate off your line? You make a mistake already? He says, no, I was in the same spot. It's just someone must have clipped it and pushed it out.
Pushed it out just a little bit.
That was a good fast way through the whoops right there. For
Big triple out of the corner.
Starting to see the track get a little bit...
a little chewed up.
Yeah, a little bit chewed up.
A little harder.
Hard pack now.
Looks pretty good, though. We got to remember we're in the Arizona desert. You know, we put a lot of water down earlier in the day, but pretty favorable track conditions, Jim, for Phoenix.
Definitely seen some guys go down in the whoop section, though.
Definitely have.
How was it, Myra, when they go outside the stadium there? You got a chance to look at some of that? That's a pretty cool section.
It is pretty cool. I stood out there for a little bit. It was pretty neat seeing them go by. I mean, so reminiscent of, you know, the Vegas tracks.
Right. Yeah. Like we talked about in our track segment this morning, Jim, just like the old U.S. Open days.
Yeah, MGM Grand when they went out there.
Yeah. Osborne. He needs a win. I'd love to see him win. You know, he's been trying hard for a lot of years. He's had some injuries. Stayed pretty tough this year. You know, we had that second place in the bag in San Diego and lost the front end, but He looks tough today. He's been tough every weekend.
Well, Savachi right now has got a
104.5. Colt Nichols second, 105.5. It's going to jump around a lot here. We still got a little over 7 minutes to go in 250A qualifying number 2.
That's so nice when you see, Osborne there. He's really working the bike.
Doubling out of the sand section.
Yeah. Just moving all around, just trying to, get that motorcycle to do what he wants.
If you're just tuning in, we're watching the 250A qualifying number 2. Up next will be 450A qualifying number 2. It's been a big day on Race Day Live here at Round 5 at University of Phoenix Stadium. It's going to be a big show tonight on FS2 at 7 p.m., but for right now, we're going to see who's going to get that number 1 gate pick.
Right there. See that, Andy?
Lost the rear
Alex?
end just a little bit.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, how it's getting hard in the dry pack as we see yellow flags in the whoops right there. But Alex Martin, the rear wheel stepped out. Oh, that was Webb. Webb must have went down in the, not sure where he was at on the track, but Cooper Webb, there's Alex Martin now, his teammate. He's opted not to go. Yeah, see, Webb went down.
Went down.
Mechanic there, Eric Gass, straightening out the handlebars. He's talking to the suspension guy, the Gabber guy. He's going to make a little bit of a quick change, I think. There he goes. He don't look happy.
No, he looks mad.
Look at his eyes. He's
angry.
Pissed off. He's just, man, I don't have the big points lead. I don't have the red background. I just crashed. Make the change, see if it works.
Something tells me in about 5 minutes he's going to put in a pretty fast lap.
Yeah, right now he's sitting
quite a bit.
Wow, he's
17th.
Woohoo!
That's not something you expect to see from Cooper Webb.
It won't last. He'll be back. With a little over 5 minutes to go, it is Christian Craig, Zach Osborne, Joey Savachi, Mitchell Oldenburg, and Jimmy D. Jim Dakota's rounding out the top 5.
Oh, Mitchell Oldenburg put in a great ride last week.
Yes, he did.
With a 4th there in Oakland there. We were trying to get him on the track walk, but he eluded us.
Yeah, he was walking the track faster than I could ride the track. But Christian Craig, a win so far has eluded him. His mechanic said he looked good this week in practice. Says he's really, really trying to get that 15-lap speed. There's Michael Lieb.
Michael Lieb had a pretty good ride last weekend.
Yes,
if
he
I'm
did.
Not mistaken. I think
There's
Michael
Joey
Lieb
Savachi.
finished up in 7th last week, so a good ride for Michael Lieb. And he's sitting 11th right now in the points, just about 11 points out of that top 10 for him.
Christian Craig throwing in another good lap. Awesome riding style. Love watching the guy. Joey Savachi to the top, as you mentioned, Myra. 103.7.
I don't doubt that having that red plate adds a little bit of fire to him.
Confidence, too. It all comes down to confidence. Whether Cooper Webb's bike had a malfunction, getting a win and getting a victory.
Well, the guys have to really put themselves in a position to even have the ability to capitalize on the mistakes. It's part of racing. Those malfunctions are going to happen. The mistakes are going to happen. But the guys still have to be there to capitalize on them and therefore, take their wins.
Absolutely. Hayden Melross, another Aussie. Looking good, doubling out of the sand. Well, almost.
Yeah, Hayden at 13th last weekend in Oakland.
A little over 3 minutes to go. Hey guys, look who jumped up to the top.
Yeah, I don't even have to look over there.
Anytime you see that look on Cooper Webb's face, you better look out.
Well, the thing about it too is it's a 103.2, so he bettered his first qualifying time at a 103.4. So Webb was able to take a couple tenths off. I guess that little crash that he had, a little suspension change,
a little anger,
the fire.
In there, yeah. Some guys, that's counterproductive. You get Cooper Webb mad, you might want to look out because he's going to start really going fast. So with about 3 minutes to go, Cooper Webb is the heat, followed by Joey Savachi, Colt Nichols.
Well, notice, Andy, he went to the far right-hand side. So Cooper Webb trying some different lines, and thinking that...
Anytime you see that look on Cooper Webb's face, you better look out.
Well, the thing about it, too, is it's a 103.2, so he bettered his first qualifying time at a 103.4. So Webb was able to take a couple tenths off. I guess that little crash that he had, a little suspension change,
a little anger,
the
anger
fire.
In there, Some guys, that's counterproductive. You get Cooper Webb mad, you might want to look out because he's going to start really going fast. So with about 3 minutes to go, Cooper Webb is the heat, followed by Joey Savacci, Colt Nichols.
Well, notice, Andy, he went to the far right-hand side. So Cooper Webb trying some different lines, you know, and thinking that, you know, if I do get a bad start, is that inside line going to work? Can I pass a lot of guys? Because a lot of guys are going to come out of that right-hander, and if you got 3 or 4 guys stacked up following each other, he can go to that right-hand side and make it work.
And he will. Kyle Cunningham looks good.
And if you're Joey Savacci sitting in second right now with a 103.7, that's about a half a second slower than Cooper Webb. You're thinking, man, I got to get a whole shot. Hopefully he gets a bad start. I got to run hard.
Half a second doesn't sound like much, but after 15 laps, that's 8-second lead. See you later.
Well, and not only that, it's a demoralizing factor also because if he's gaining a half a second, next thing you know, you're going, I can't catch this guy, and so you just subconsciously in your mind, you just kind of ride your own race at that point. You're not chasing him anymore, and you're kind of hoping that, you keep running that pace. Hopefully you lose the front end or something. And like Myra said, you got to be there to capitalize on a mistake.
Yes, Savacci can hope that Cooper Webb gets a bad start all he wants, but we already know that Cooper Webb doesn't mind those.
Yeah, he's making that inside work for him on the right-hand side there. He's see what his last lap was a minute 41, so he might be on another heater right now. He wants to see how that inside line's going to work. We'll be interesting to see when he comes around because we only have about a minute 27 left in this practice here as Webb's on it. Colt Nichols going to go in and let's follow Webb around. See all the faces of the jump, the blue groove, and how it's starting to pack down now. Let's see, he's going to come over. Oh, he almost lost that front end. Let's see what it is.
102.9.
102.
Oh.
102.9.
So he found something different. For the people listening in and watching this.
Yes.
The outside's getting cupped out in the whoops. You're not able to get up on top of him. He's making that far right-hand side get on top of him. That's where he made up that time, that last lap.
Excellent observation, Jim Hawley.
And I think that even if he didn't make that little bobble, he might have been able to bring it down to 102.8, but a 102.9 for Cooper Webb. Clearly making a statement here in Phoenix. Hey, I'm the fastest in the qualifying in the first go-around. I'm even the fastest in the second one. I dropped my time down. Let's get to that main event right away.
He wants to race tonight very badly. He wants that red plate back. You know, it was like we were saying. It was round 3 and we were talking about a sweep and it was still early, and like the saying goes, anything can happen in racing. Well, it did. And it's a short championship with a divisional 250 SX class. They only have 8 rounds, 9 rounds, not 17. So those little bitty things that can happen shake things up. And now, like we've said all day, there's 5 points separating the top 3, separating Cooper Webb, Joey Savacci, and Zach Osborne. Checker flag is out. One more qualifying session to go here today on Race Day Live. The 450A group coming up next. My favorite part of the day. Can anybody be faster than Ryan Dungey is the question. What do you think, Myra?
Well, I'm going to say no.
You're not alone. You're not alone. Kenny Roczen, we had his team manager on here, Carrie Hart. He'll be pulling for him really hard. But a lot of things going right for the Red Bull KTM's Ryan Dungey.
That last lap, Joey Savacci brought it down to a 103.3.
So he's done 4/10.
Yeah, so that's good. He's picking it up.
That's it. 250A qualifying number 2, Cooper Webb, followed by Joey Savacci, Christian Craig, Zach Osborne, and Colt Nichols rounding out your top 5. We'll go ahead and go through the top 10. 6th was Jordan Smith, 7th Shins Dakotas. Alex Martin. Cooper Webb's going to be down talking to Ashley here.
Up there right with the 450 riders as well. How about this Yamaha Loop Star Racing Yamaha rider number 1, Cooper Webb. Coop, congratulations, a 101 and some change right there on this track. I know it kind of took a toll on you earlier. We saw you go down once again in this round of qualifying. How were you able to put that behind you and get this fast lap?
I just got a lap down. I think I only did 1 lap, so we made some adjustments, and it was good. I like this track a lot. The whoops are pretty gnarly right now. They didn't really touch them, so it's a good racetrack though. And looking for a good start and hopefully be up here again to talk to you.
Coming into the stadium, it's the first football field that we've seen all year, and this start straight is extremely long. Is there anything you change on your bike or you really work on focusing on that first turn?
Yeah, we actually changed some stuff a lot this week. We did a lot of testing this week to get it better, and I think it's really good. And they fixed a lot of the corners that time, so it made it a lot faster, you know, the track and stuff. So we'll just go out there, put our head down tonight, get a good start, and try to get the red plate back.
After last week, are you a little bit hungry tonight?
Oh, yeah, starving.
He's starving. Cooper Webb, a tough break for him last week. He had to give up that red background, but he is back with a vengeance this week. Make sure you cheer him on. He's the Yamalube Star Racing Yamaha rider, #1, Cooper Webb.
Speed.
Well, you heard from him. He's starving, hungry like a wolf.
He is starving, but something I want to bring to both of you guys' attention. Did you notice that W, what color it was?
It was red.
It was red. You know why he does that? Get into Joey's head a little bit. You might have the whole red, but I am still the champion in this class, and I got a little red.
Well,
and he's here to take it back.
That's why we run the races. We still have a race to go tonight. If he wants that red plate back that he just spoke about, he's going to have to go out and earn it, man. 15 laps. Joey Savacci's right there, just like he was last weekend. When preparation meets opportunity, that's why Joey Savacci got the red plate. And anything can happen, but hey, Cooper Webb just kind of laid it down right now, said, I'm fast. You're going to have to beat me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
450A lining up for MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. 435 feet of hole shot here today in University of Phoenix Stadium.
I wouldn't be surprised if a few of these riders, you know, they kind of get lieu of that, how long they're starting on. When they're at their practice test tracks, they put out some cones, and they start, and they run it down in, and to get used to what it feels like. I mean, because you're not having an opportunity here. If you look at it, you're about 50 feet, like we said, away from that starting gate. So it's a little bit deceiving when they run it down into that first turn. They're going to have a little bit more track space.
How far back Roczen is, a little bit closer
he's
to the gate.
He's almost to the gate.
Yeah.
Actually, I guarantee you they'll probably move him up, I bet. Yeah. I don't know, maybe not. Weston Pike's down there with him. Also, who's that next to Roczen? There's that Anderson. I can't see, but yeah, they're back there with there's Anderson up front.
It's going to be the last opportunity they have to get a practice start in for the full length of the start. You know, it was funny on Track Walk. You know, these guys have seen the track maps for a month. We've had these on supercrosslive.com for a long time. When you actually stand here inside University of Phoenix Stadium and look down at the other end, and all of them are a little bit deer in the headlights.
I get a chance to look at Cole Seeley now, making sure his helmet's buckled, goggles are on fine, just kind of getting ready. But, you know, the other thing, like we talked about, Andy, with that, you know, hump halfway down, your shift point might be a little bit different now that you're getting back, and so we're seeing a lot of those guys. And now, obviously, they got rid of that bump.
I just noticed, yeah.
Yeah, it's gone now. So
I think that's for the better.
Yeah, I do too.
You know,
I mean, you know, you're going that fast. Why put a speed bump in the middle of the track? You know. Alex Ray.
There's
Eli
Boppy,
Tomac,
another Aussie.
Yeah. There's the Lobo, Jason Anderson next to the number 12. Weimer.
All right, going on a limb here. Colin Roczen, fastest qualifier. Who do you got, Jim?
Just qualifying we're doing now?
Just qualifying.
I think it's going to be Dungey.
Myra?
Yeah.
Actually, I could agree with you on that one.
Maybe Roczen this time. He's riding goods. Had a couple of good weeks. That guy's had an excellent week. Got a first podium in his 450 SX career. Marvin Muskin.
Don't forget about Christophe Porcel. He could surprise us all.
Yes,
but
he could.
I'm not sure if he likes this track. It's pretty fast.
Yeah, very high speed.
Yeah, I don't know if he's into this high-speed track at all.
I was really surprised to see him in the LCQ last week.
Yeah. Yeah, but you saw what he did in the LCQ last week. He was clear out of contention with 1 lap to go. He goes from 6th to 3rd. I don't know how. You just blink your eyes and that guy can make something happen on a 450.
That was a great.
It was a great last chance qualifier.
Look at Seeley looking down at that long starting line there. There's the focus to Tomac. Look at his eyes. He's tonight the night I'm going to get a podium. It's been good here. I've won here last year. Can I get it done tonight? There's his mechanic, Brian, a graduate of MMI. And there's Dungey in the background, just kind of walking around. I'm not sure what they're waiting for. They're just kind of holding these guys up a little bit. Kevin Kratz from the AMA walking over. He's got his stopwatch in his hand. He's probably going to get ready to start this thing here in a second.
Absolutely.
There it is. There's the sign. Wind him up. There's Kenny Roczen, and you see to the left of Kenny Roczen there. That's going to be Weston Pike, and they're all the way in the back right there. They're right next to the dozers. I'm not so sure if they'll bring him up. Let's see. And another Husky ride. That look I can't see, but that looks like Porcel. So Porcel's back there with Roczen, with Weston Pike, and Alex Ray, and they haven't taken off yet. They're going to wait till
What's Dungy
everybody
doing?
gets done. And
Dungy's just waiting on his bike. You see him.
That's not good. Carlos, where's my motorcycle?
Meanwhile,
Dungy's waited before on his motorcycle.
Yeah, as we see him there, you know.
Yeah,
he has
Dungy.
waited on his motorcycle. But something simple with the bike. Maybe they're working on it.
You know, sometimes you don't see it, but, you know, to drain the oil out and
Found
change
some
oil,
metal.
they saw some metal, and they go, hey, we can't take a chance. We got to pull this motor out. And I'm not so sure Dungy's going to lose. Dungy's a little upset right now.
The mannerisms aren't looking very positive right now.
I don't think he's able to get that fastest qualifying time.
Well,
like you said, without a bike.
Here's the other thing. The track goes out of the stadium. How they getting that bike across the track? Because once this track's going, Dungy may not. Yeah, it's a hot track now. So I'm not so sure that he's even going to.
It's one of those unexpected things.
But you know what? This is how you win championships on your bad days. If he doesn't get a chance
calm.
to go out there and he's just calm, he's okay. He's just looking at it like, that's no big deal.
He's probably like, get the camera away from me. I've noticed, I don't have a motorcycle.
See, that's where we need Myra. We got to get Myra down there, and you could ask that, Dungy, what are you feeling right now? And you could talk to us.
Well, knowing him and his attitude, he'd somehow spin it some
positive way.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not so sure that the guys that are playing the RM Fantasy Supercross, they might have
holding his bike hostage down there.
Yeah, they might have held his bike hostage and say, hey.
Meanwhile, Jason Anderson killing it out there, just looking very confident, very fast.
Well, I think he's thinking that this is his house, so.
Right.
It's his house.
It's as local as it gets to him. Looks strong. He's looked strong all year. Hasn't finished out of the top 5.
Marvin with a 1:02.9.
Fast lap.
7:40 to go in this practice, and still no bike for Dungey, as you see in the split screen. Yellow flag up. Not sure, was that Nicoletti on that Yamaha down there?
It was a Yamaha. It was Phil Nicoletti. He's okay though.
You know, the only thing Dungey can do down there is just looking up at the big screen up above us. He's kind of watching the guys go, but I don't think he's going to get an opportunity to ride this practice. It's pretty late.
Interesting turn of events.
Anderson
7 minutes to go. He can still get a couple laps in, but early in the early going with 7 minutes to go, Marvin Muskin at the top, followed by Eli Tomac, Jason Anderson, Chad Reed 4th, Cole Seeley 5th.
And you see Dungey now kind of walking a little bit, trying to stay loose, shake his arms around. There's his bike. Here comes Carlos.
Yeah, like I said.
Carlos
All right, he'll get a few laps in.
All right, Dungey, go down there. And now lay down the fastest
Now if
time.
he lays down.
Make me look good.
Yeah.
You know what we got to do next week, right, Myra?
I'm sorry?
You know what we got to do next week?
What do we got to do?
We got to go interview Carlos Rivera and ask him what
happened.
Ask him what happened.
Yeah. You know, another rider I'm not seeing in the top 10 who I predicted to be the fastest.
Oh, there's your guy with a 101.8.
Speak of the double. Right.
A 101.8. Let's see. The fastest time was a 101.6 by Ryan Dungey that first go around.
All right, we got Dungey back on track. We have 6 minutes to go. It's Roczen at the top, Anderson, Muskin, Tomac, Reed. Who's going to be the fastest qualifier? Who's going to take the first gate pick? Let's see what Dungey can do here. He's been standing out there a little bit cold, maybe a little bit upset, but I think he's going to end up with a good lap. Lots of time.
Yeah, I don't think he's upset. I've never really seen Dungey.
Right, I can't say he's upset.
You know,
right,
I don't know if he's
I guess
upset.
yeah.
But a little bit of fuel for the diesel, you know, to go out there and lay one down.
Right. Laying up a little bit, maybe setting up a lap.
Now, I'm surprised that the 450 guy's going around the whoops too.
Good corner there. Wow. You saw how much time he just put on Millsaps in one corner, like 5 bike lengths.
Yeah,
Tomac in second right now. You know, he was looking really focused, like you said, out there.
Step on, step off. Let's see if they're taking the whoops on the far left-hand side or the inside. See, he's following Cooper Webb, Dungey, to that far right-hand side. He knew that worked for him, and so he wants to try that same line. Now we got some yellow flags.
Yeah. It's going to mess up his lap as Millsaps jumps in there too.
Trying to look at the Yamaha.
Who's down?
Can't see. I see the bike, but I can't see the
Yamaha.
rider.
Yeah. Little over 4 minutes to go. Ken Roczen, Eli Tomac, Marvin Muskin, Jason Anderson, Chad Reed, Cole Seeley, Will Hahn, Davey Millsaps, Weston Pike, Jacob Weimer rounding out the time. That's our buddy Bopping over there. Yeah, looks like a big crash. The subframe's bent. We'll hope he's okay.
Weston Pike just inside the top 10. I know that he's struggled a little bit having those kind of last lap crashes, you know, the last couple of races. You know, it's interesting you guys mentioned before that when there's a little bit of a tiff going on between two guys, they always seem to find each other on the track. I think that was definitely true last week with Cole Seeley and Jason Anderson. And then also Weston Pike
and
Vince Freezy.
Yeah.
Those guys definitely found themselves.
Kenny Roczen in making a little bit of a suspension change to his front forks, talking to his mechanic. They're Dungey now.
Still hasn't been able to put in a lap. This might, you know, Millsaps got around him and he kind of hung right in behind Millsaps, so. Right now, Dungey currently sits 16th. He'll no doubt beat that with this lap right here. Probably launch him into the top 5 or 6.
5.
Launch him into the top 5.
But you notice he's on another lap right away. He's not going to. This is where we talked about something that he's doing differently. He's putting down good, smooth laps.
Jim, did you notice how low he stayed in that corner? How the bike was able to stay low and make that arc. Tougher than it looks, and it's little things like that that make you, you know, tenths of a second here.
See, now he went right down the middle of the whoop. So he's searching around, trying to find different things right now, different lines.
So earlier he had that 101.6, correct? Well, we just had Jason Anderson with that 101.7.
Dungey's definitely on a heater here. Looks good. Hopefully we stay with him. He just left the building, coming back in. There's Chad Reed, currently sitting 8th. Tied for second in the points.
Yeah, and you notice when you saw Chad Reed going in the corner, couldn't hold that line. It kind of drifted out where Dungey's looked like he was on rails right there.
Yeah, that's the difference. You know, it's tenths and inches with these guys.
Kenny's on a hot one right now, too.
Dunge just came around, jumps up to 4th. With time running out, just about 2 minutes to go here. Round 5.
But Dungey's okay with that 101.6 in that first qualifying session, just 1/10 behind is Anderson in this one. He's leading this one, the final qualifying.
Look at the 102s, Jim Hawley, from 3rd all the way down to
a ton of them.
10th. That's what makes it so exciting this year. The pack is deep, it's tough. We have 7 guys that are injured. All the same, it's still outstanding racing, and can't wait to see round 5 here at University of Phoenix Stadium. Huge crowds pouring in.
You know, when I look at that 101, that reminds me of Ben Townley's number, the 102 Christopher Gosler. I'm thinking about, but it's been a long time since we've had 102 lap times. Dungey's outside there, Anderson getting up.
You know, if there's anyone that might be a little bit more pleased with himself than Ryan Dungey, I'm going to say it's Alden Baker.
Yeah.
You know, with his guys owning the
everything.
top spot all year, and then obviously Marvin getting his first podium last week too. So I'm thinking he's feeling pretty good about himself right now.
Him and his boys making it happen. I agree. Time running out.
Good
under
shot
a minute.
of Tommy Hahn there, and Will
Look
Hahn.
who jumps to the top, Jim Hawley.
Jason Anderson.
101.7, 1/10 faster than Roczen's 101.8. Followed by Tomac, Dungey, Christoph Porcel jumps into top 5. And Seeley, Muskin, Reed, Pike, and Will Hahn rounding out the top 10 with time running out, under 30 seconds to go. Interesting qualifying segment there. Dungey didn't have a bike for, 3 or 4 minutes? Jumps back on, jumps right into the top 4.
Yeah,
Anderson's the fastest.
Thing about it, though, is he's still got that fast time. That'll get him the first gate pick on that second heat race in the 450.
Look who jumps to the top now.
Christoph
We
told
you. You did, Jim, you called it. You totally called it. Dungey jumps to the top. Wow.
There's my boy, Dunge. Yeah. There's my boy. I knew he would do it. He didn't
with
let me down.
With a 101.3.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you tune into Race Day Live. You never know what you're going to see. These are the best Supercross racers in the world, you know, and they're going for the first gate pick, and it just up and down, up and down. Who was the fastest? Checkered flags out.
Ryan didn't even need his bike for the first couple minutes to swing that.
Yeah, that's going to really put a demoralizing factor in everybody. You know, they're going to look at that, and they're going to come away, and they're seeing the number 1 up on that top of the board there as we're getting a chance. Well, there they are. Ryan Dungey, a 101.3. Right behind him, Christoph Porcel, a 101.7. That's about 4/10 back. And then Anderson with a 101.7 and a 101.8 for Roczen. Then we're going to jump into the 102s with Tomac and Seeley and Marvin Muskin, Reed.
Right, we're going to hear from Lurch down there and Ryan Dungey and see what happened. Maybe Ryan will spill the beans and see what was going on with the bike, maybe.
Let's hope.
Yeah, obviously wasn't nothing too wrong with the bike.
No, it worked out good.
Right. Right, so there you have it. That's the final results of the 450A qualifying number 2. The defending champion, 20 podiums in a row, 3 out of 4 wins, and now the fastest qualifier, Ryan Dungey.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, he just continues to amaze. It's a strong run. He's making his way over to the podium now.
Yeah, he's heading over to Lurch. You're going to ride up there and talk to him and see exactly, you know, what happened. Give him a chance to take off his goggles and his helmet.
Anderson, Roczen, Tomac.
Yeah, Porcel
fastest 5, and then Cole Seeley.
On the Red Bull KTM, the number 1. Let's give it up for Ryan Dungey. And man, talk about a little pressure building. Didn't have a bike at the start of the qualifying session. 4 guys now, including you, are in at the 101 point change. And then you answer the bell when it came a ringing and got that 101.3.
Yeah, just making sure all was good. Everything was fine. Just making sure everything's working good on the bike. And yeah, started a little late, but it's what it is. And got some good laps in. That's the main thing. And the bike feels good. And track's really deteriorating, you know. It's you got to really hit your marks, like I said earlier. But yeah, it's good to get some good laps in, and then just get ready for the night. You know, that's the main thing.
Now, when you talk about the track deteriorating, is this something that inside might work for the first part of the night, and then you're going to have to switch it up, go center of the turn, outside of the turn?
Yeah, it depends. You know, you can get in there at the bottom, some of the corners where there's some traction, but in the whoops, you know, that's more most of the track where it's kind of falling apart. A lot of edges. You know, you catch your wheel on one of them, you know, it starts to spit off a little bit. So just trying to make sure I was good there, but they'll clean it up for the night, and yeah. Team Red Bull KTM feels good tonight. 450 feels good, so try to get off some good starts, and it's a long start tonight, but we'll try to hold that inside and get out front. That's the goal.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he did it once again. Ladies and gentlemen, fastest qualifier in number 1 and number 2. He's the number 1 red background plate, the defending champion. It's Ryan Dungey.
And there you have it. You just heard from Dungey, and now it's time for the final RM Fantasy SX Fantasy Insider. Let's get it going, guys. I don't know if we sound like a broken record yet, but Dungey, you know, I don't know if he's beatable. I'm going to pick Roczen. I'm going to stay with my gut feeling today. We had Carrie Hart on the show. Maybe that's an omen for his team. He's had a third, a second. Maybe this is the night Ken Roczen does it. So I'm going to go with Ken Roczen, Ryan Dungey, and Jason Anderson for my podium. 5th and 10th, I think 5th is going to be Muskin, and I think 10th is going to be Will Hahn.
Well, I'm going to go with the same 3 guys, but I'm going to change the order. I'm going to go with Dungey, Roczen, and Anderson in 3rd.
Solid?
I think I'm going to go with the same thing Myra said. I like Dungey, you know, but I just think that, you know, what we saw and how he kept his composure out there, you know, the bike wasn't there and everything. We're thinking, wow. And
didn't matter.
16th, it doesn't matter. And I just think that I think the KTM might work a little bit better here on this dry track, and you heard him talk about how the track's starting to deteriorate. So I'm going to go with Dungey, Roczen, and Anderson's tenacity. Just, you know, he's got to get on that podium, but I think we're in for good racing. And then, like I said, 5th, I don't know. I mean, I think you could put a 5th in there. I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe a Tomac could be on that 5th, you know. And then in 10th for the wild card spot, I'm going to put Weston Pike.
Yeah, solid picks, solid picks. Remember to go to rmfantasy.com and get signed up today.
You know, the other thing, Kurt Benke, I forgot to mention.
His picks.
He picked Dungey to win, Roczen, Anderson, Reed for 4th, Seeley for that 5th spot, and his wild card was Weston Pike also.
Solid. And we want to remind you guys, hashtag AskRDL. We're going to have questions. We'll have answers. Send us your questions in. Hashtag AskRDL. Myra, Jim, or myself will answer your questions. We're going to get to those next week. But as far as this week goes, we've had an outstanding show today. It's been great. We had great guests. We had Carrie Hart, Jeremy Meyer, Donnie Hansen, Lynn Grooms, Colt Nichols, Ken George from MX versus ATV Supercross Encore. We had Terry Emig from MMI. What a great show. What an exciting qualifying session, guys. You guys got to be pumped for FS2 tonight.
I always am. I mean, every night is always going to be so great. We had a great time at the pit party.
Yeah.
Tonight's going to be awesome. The qualifying was great. So I think overall the day is just going to be just phenomenal.
Right. And we got to remind you guys, Chasing the Dream premieres Sunday, February 14th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. And we'll be back next weekend for Military Appreciation Night in San Diego. But for Myra Tanahero, Jim Hawley, I'm Andy Boyer. We hope you've enjoyed Race Day Live today. We'll see you next week.